A Prophet of Thought series exclusive. Prophet of Thought. Open your mind.
Lady cat, lady class, lady Kendra, the unicorn four.
Open your mind.
Thursday. Unicorn four. Lady class, lady Kendra, lady cat, lady. The unicorn four.
Open your mind.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Prophet of Thought series right here on the T.L.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you know that already. That's why you're here. Once again, we have come to Thursday night, my favorite night of the week, because y'all know Thursday nights is the T.L.O.T Unicorn 4 broadcast, but I'm bringing y'all an exclusive tonight, because not only will you see the Unicorn 4, we got a lineup of some heavy hitters on here as well. We're going to have my man, Brother Valdez. We're going to have Brother Jay Shine and Brother L.A.R Movement. And last but not least, the master teacher himself. So tonight, good show coming for y'all tonight. And let me put this disclaimer out there. This show is probably not suited for young viewers. Parental discretion is advised. Yeah. But anyway, a lot of the gang is already here. I see Lady Katz, Lady Kendra, Lady Ming in the house, Brother L.A.R, my man, Brother Valdez. What's good, y'all?
Good evening.
What's going on?
What's happening, y'all?
Master teacher just stepped into the room. Well, hey, Lady Kendra. Lady Classic. What's good? Is she there? Hey, Lady Classic. Got a bone to pick with you, lady. I mean, you're gonna have it out for a few minutes before we get going. You and I are going to have it out, lady. I don't think she can hear me. She got a mic off. You better not be sleeping up there this week. Better not. Lady Classic. Can she hear me?
Hangouts must be acting up. Yep, she left. She's got to come back.
I'll get her when she come back. But anyway, y'all, tonight's topic is man to woman. And you can thank the unicorns for this show topic because this was suggested to me by Lady Ming herself. So, Lady Ming, thank you for giving me a topic so I didn't have to come up with one this week. It is appreciated.
Anytime to build with the brothers is always a good time to be had.
Yeah. So we're gonna have, we're gonna have a little man to woman discussion tonight. It's gonna be no holds barred. Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. Y'all know how we do it here at the old TPOT YouTube page. Everything's on the table. That's why I said, put the children to bed. This is probably not going to be for young viewers. I'm giving you fair warning like I do every week. Brother Jay Shine just stepped in the room. What's good, Brother Jay Shine?
Oh, can y'all hear me though?
Yeah, you're a little staticky.
Yeah. Sound like
fantastic.
Sound like you got chicken frying in the background.
We hear you frying fish.
Like some chicken frying.
Well, I gotta fry something today, but I'll try to fix that static stuff. At least you can hear me this time.
Yes, we can hear you. Where were you last week? I was looking forward to your questions last week, lady. Where were you? God, I'm so disappointed.
I was there. I was there. It was my godson's 6th birthday, and it was a lot of physical pain and exertion for me all day, running around with this 6-year-old, and I was running late, but I was on my way, and I swear I got into the call, and I got home, and I don't even remember falling asleep. I don't know. I opened my eyes and it was like 5 a.m. and I was just like, oh my God, I missed the whole thing. And I really, really apologize. It will never happen again, I promise.
No, it's not that. It's just that I was kind of looking forward to your questions. The ladies asked some really good questions last week. They really did.
Yeah, they did an amazing job. I was really disappointed. I could not take part. Hopefully one day we'll have a part 2. I could take part then and throw you a couple of good ones.
Okay. Yeah, so we might as well just go ahead and get right on into it, because that's what we do here at the old TPOT YouTube page. And if you're looking right there, about right there somewhere, okay, see that Streamlabs link? If you're feeling generous tonight, go ahead and drop some coins in the bucket. And also, if you're feeling generous tonight, drop some likes right here in this here section. Because look at here, I got 24 people watching, but I only got 17 likes. Y'all know X don't play that. I never like the damn watch numbers to exceed the like numbers. If it's 25 of you in here, there should be 25 likes. It only takes a second. We're going to do like we do every week. You're going to take that hand and you're going to guide it slowly. See? Guide it slowly. Nice and slow. Get that mouse right over that button and click, and you're done. See how simple that was? See how simple that was. But anyway,
I'm sorry, can y'all still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay, is the static gone?
That's not as bad.
Yeah,
okay. I'm working on it over here. Sorry.
We can ignore it, I think. I think we can kind of ignore it.
Okay.
What's good, Master Teacher?
Hey, X, what's going on? I'm good. Don't often sit in. I'm glad I got on. Sometimes I can't get on. But
yeah, well, TPOT is haunted by ghetto ghost. So yeah, the TPOT is haunted by ghetto ghosts. So they refuse to be exorcised. I've tried many different exorcists to get them out, but they're here to stay. They will haunt this system as long as this system is around. So yeah, so Lady Ming suggested this topic, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let Lady Ming go ahead and start it off.
Oh my goodness. I had no idea.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and let her start it off.
She's in the chair already.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start. Okay.
Wherever you want.
Well, let's start from last week. Come on, throw me the ball. Set me up.
Was the last week? Okay, last week on on Mike was on the hangout with the ladies, and I thought it went rather well. But come next week, all the so-called talented 10th men had a big discussion about it. You know, a lot of things that seemed like Mike was disrespected, or the ladies didn't listen, or they weren't heard, and stuff like that. So I listened back to it, and none of that happened. But I think what happened is that there's a disagreement, and I think a lot of the guys had a lot of hurt feelings, because I heard a lot of feelings in that the ladies disagreed with them. Which I always I think I went over. I did actually two shows on the same thing. Because I went over the thing. I said, I actually played it back, and I asked, I think it was Foxfire who was really upset about it. I said, okay, show me where Mike was disrespected at any time during that hangout. And he couldn't show it to me. And he actually re-listened to it, and he said Mike wasn't disrespected, but he still felt the way he felt, because he thinks that the lady should see things the same way that men do. I keep saying that women are not men, and what on my show, on my hangouts, I want the ladies to be real. I want them to be honest, and I want them to think, whether they agree or disagree. And that's what I want, and that's what they gave me, which is exactly what I wanted. So I think it was a great hangout. So if guys come away with listen to it and have butthurt feelings, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about dialogue. I think that would sum it up in a nutshell, because I think all this stuff came after that. Am I close, Lady Ming?
Yeah, for that subject, we were going to kind of like talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
You know, where it all took place and started. And quite honestly, I wasn't even there for it because it was on my birthday on Friday the 13th of all days. For some misunderstandings to occur.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but probably so.
So I wasn't present, even though I have something to say about that. But
okay. So
tomorrow.
where are we gonna start?
Tonight, last night we were interviewing Brother X, and we learned quite a lot about him. And you know, it just felt good. It was just the energy that just really felt good. So we were like, you know what? Next week we should chop it up, the men and women, and maybe have a continuation to one of our past conversations about the relationship part, the sex part, the marriage part, the communication part, right? Right, Brother X? That's it, right?
Yes.
As I'm talking, it's coming back to me. So, because when we did discuss it last time, it was a lot of questions that were still left on the table that afterwards people were like, I thought we would talk about this. I thought they would have asked you guys that. So I want to talk about the this and the that.
Okay, let's start with the this.
Yeah, what is the this, Lady Ming?
Give me some context, guys. Damn. Okay, it's like freaking silent. Give me some damn context. What you want to know?
Let's do this. Last week, when you brought this up last week, Lady Ming, we were actually talking about we were talking about a few things, but we were talking about relationships. We were talking about not going to bed angry. We were talking about a few things. So how about we start here? All right. Because where you want to start? You want to start communication? You want to start relationships? You want to start
we probably could start with communication, because communication has a ripple effect.
Well, as a woman, you know, being that this is the Unicorn 4, okay, this is y'all platform. I'll ask y'all ladies, like, what is the most important part of communication that you ladies, what communication do you women have an affinity for? What do you prefer to be communicating about?
With me, I always say this. I quote Jay-Z when he said, I like to play spades with the cards all up, all trust. That's how I am.
Tough.
I'm not it is tough, but and me and my husband work through it, because I try to be an example. So you don't have to guess or wonder where I'm coming from. You always know where we stand. I think things are just simpler that way. You know what I mean? I can waste my brain time on figuring out something else. I shouldn't have to waste my time figuring out what you're thinking. So My husband, it's taking him some time. We got married in 2013, so our 5-year wedding anniversary will be this year, even though we've been together 7. So it's a work in progress. But communication for me, it has to be all the way around because I'm not a snooper. I'm not going through your phone. I'm not checking his Facebook or anything like that. I don't, where you're going, when you're coming home. Like, I'm not like that. I'm not a nag. So if I'm going to not nag you, you have to give me the trust I need to not develop into a nag, because any of us can become a goddamn spider monkey if we have to. So that's pretty much the type of communication I want. It has to be all of it.
Open and
Yeah,
honest.
it's all or none. Yeah, all or none. Because with me, if I stop communicating, we got a problem. As soon as I stop talking, it's a problem.
So
as long as you got me talking, we good. So for me, I feel the same way in dealing with people. If you're closed off and quiet, that's why I can't really deal with passive aggressive people or those type of cagey people. That's not me. I don't have the energy for that.
Do you have you have the tough skin to go along with it though?
You have to. You have to. I do. And even I tell my husband, I say, don't worry about what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to curse, and I may even cry. But what you can always guarantee and know about me is that I'm going to come back, think about it logically, and I'm going to compromise and understand. Don't be afraid of the storm before the rainbow, because I'm going to give you a storm. It's just who I am. It's part of the package. I'm an Aries, for God's sakes, a real one. With shit I done been through. You know what I'm saying? With a treasure chest. So
yeah. And
just take it. We really good.
Like, I agree with Ming. I mean, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. But like, I agree with Ming. I think the thing for me, and I say it constantly, and this is not just in my relationships, like say with my husband, but in relationships in general, openness and honesty to me is key. Without those two things, I feel we have nothing. And I add in the word openness because just because you aren't directly lying to me doesn't mean that you're not necessarily telling me something that, maybe it would be better if I know. And I feel like when I'm with a man, I feel like I should know more about that man than anyone else on the street knows, and vice versa. So from that perspective, I feel like from the get-go, what communication should be about, it shouldn't be about playing little games with each other. It shouldn't be about trying to elicit certain responses or whatever the case is. It should be about you openly and honestly communicating your thoughts, your feelings, your day, your experiences, your struggles, your gripes, whatever it is, with each other. And being able to not only communicate those things, but being able to actually really not just listen, but hear, understand, and process what the other person's giving you on the same level. And, to B.G.S's question there, like, well, do you have the tough skin? The thing is, there are a lot of people who aren't born with tough skin. I wasn't born with tough skin. You got to get there. Because at the end of the day, you can't live in a bubble. Life doesn't exist in a bubble. So having someone who's always going to pamper you and coddle you and say, there, no, you're perfect. No, of course your ass doesn't look fat in that. No, of course your stomach doesn't bulge over those jeans, when it's not true. That's not going to help you in the grand scheme of things. You need to be able to accept constructive criticism that comes with love from someone who loves you unconditionally. You need to learn how to do that. So I feel like if you start from the very beginning with someone and that's what you're offering them, that's what you're giving them, then they actually have the ability to either they're going to shut down from the beginning, which in that case, that's not the right person for you, but the right person is going to be able to say, wow, that kind of really hurt my feelings. But okay, let's talk about it now, and get to a place where there's that understanding, and they understand that underneath that there is actually love, and it's more valuable than the pretty lie they could have told you.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you, Ruby. Wait, can everybody hear me?
We got you.
Yep,
Yes,
I can hear
ma'am.
you.
Okay.
I can hear you, Lady Kendra.
I get paranoid about it. I get quiet and I get shaky.
Well,
Anyway,
that
I
happens.
know.
That happens to happen when you speak, Lady Kendra. People
I
get
think you're
quiet.
doing it on purpose. They trying to unnerve us,
We,
girl. That's what's going on.
we're
they're
here to
gonna have to try better than quiet because I
we,
just think hanging.
we hear the grease sizzling, so we don't know. We got to see which direction the grease is gonna
You
pop.
just don't want that
You don't know which way we
microphone. Oh
coming.
Lord.
See,
The
the
BGS tread lightly. He think it's a setup.
now my grease is very well directed. See, on the panel now are brothers that I love and respect. So there is no
Mm-hmm.
grease.
Right.
Okay.
It's grease one day. It's a low simmer. I might put a French fry in it. Nothing too heavy.
Okay.
So uh so man, okay, communication. I like honesty, even to the point of brutality.
Mm.
If you must be brutally honest, if that's the only way that the honesty can come out, give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just give it to me. Don't worry about the reaction. If I'm sitting there with my jaw tight
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying nothing, jaw just tight. Fine. Let the jaw be tight. My husband didn't understand that till the last 2 years of our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he said something to me that I didn't like or that I didn't really want to hear, I don't have a tendency to argue with you and throw a fit. I sit there, I won't say nothing, but my jaw will get tight.
Mm-hmm.
That right fist will ball up, and I'm gonna look straight ahead, but I'm not gonna say nothing. And he would read that body language, and more often than not, he would go off on a tangent. Like, see, that's why I can't say nothing to you, because you know what I'm saying? Like how you be reacting, and da 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 da. And he'll go off, and he'll forget everything he's trying to actually tell me, and he'll go off on that tangent. And repeatedly, I had to tell him, don't worry about that part.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect me to be blank if you're reading me the riot act. Okay. It's a lot of men who would give 2 gold guineas to have a woman to just sit there while they're reading her the riot act and not throw a fit. Okay. So I'm not throwing a fit. And just because my jaw is tight doesn't mean I'm not listening to what you're saying and actually internalizing it. That's why the jaw is tight, because I'm internalizing it. I'm not like blocking you out. Because if I was blocking you out, I wouldn't have any reaction at all. I'd be happy sitting there smiling. And it took him almost our entire marriage to figure that out. That regardless of the fact if I get mad at it, everything you say isn't going to have me smiling. I know that. You should know that. And I kept telling him, like, dude, you're not scared of me. Like, so quit acting like you scared to tell me something. I'm not a bitch. And please don't try to act like you can't tell me something because I'm being bitchy. Like, that's just not true.
Oh yeah. And don't use that period excuse either. We sick of that shit. That shit is like tired.
Exactly. Like, don't do that.
Wait. I still use that excuse
Just tell
sometimes.
it to me.
Well, I don't like hearing that. Like,
you might not like hearing it, but it's reality is reality, sweetie.
Well,
he's
my
like,
husband
It is what it is.
My husband couldn't use period on me because mine were irregular anyway. So I didn't PMS and period on no kind of regular basis. So he couldn't use that.
he didn't know what to expect.
So if I'm sitting there with my fist balled up and my jaw clenched, that means I'm angry, but I'm listening. And see, the anger isn't even always directed at him or what he's saying. I might be angry because I know what you're saying is true. And I'm probably angry at myself. So let me do that, because if I'm going to cry, I'm not going to cry in front of you because I don't like giving people the satisfaction of knowing they hurt me. So I'll go somewhere else and do that. So you don't have to worry about me jumping up, getting loud, trying to say something to you just because you said something to me. I don't do tit for tat. I don't do back and forth unless I have something actually to say of relevance to what is happening. Other than that, you can say what you want. And one time he said, why don't you ever argue back at me? He was like, I sit here and I point out every shortcoming you got, and you don't never point mine out. Why? I said, well, I ain't going nowhere, so what I'm pointing them out for? And a lot of the stuff is just your personality. I got to take the bad with the good. So what difference does it make? I'm not gonna sit here and point it out. You're not gonna change it. So what we arguing about? Just pick an argument for no reason. So communication has to be. It can't be an argument because I hate arguments. I hate confrontations. I hate all of that yelling at me. I hate all of that because I'm not gonna yell at you because I don't like it. Escalated voices. I got PTSD about that. So I don't like being yelled at, and I try not to put myself in a position to have made him feel like he got to yell at me. And so a calm, rational conversation, just state your business plainly. What problem do you have with me? What are you talking about? Just say it, come out with it, because if you beat around the bush, that's going to piss me off. I might get up and walk off because you're not even talking to me. You're doing some other shit. Because best believe if I got a problem with you, I'm going to come out with it. Real flat. Bam. There it is. Okay, now what do we want to do with it? So, the openness, I mean, I'm not going to snoop. I don't go through phones. I don't go through emails. I don't go through shit. Whatever you doing in the dark, it'll come to light eventually. I ain't got to look for it because I'm a firm believer in if you search for it, you find it. So I'm not looking for shit. You allowed to keep your private life if you want to. I just don't want a person who's emotionally unavailable. And so therefore he can't tell me nothing. Because if you can't tell me nothing, I have not engendered your trust. So now I want to know what I'm doing to make you feel like you can't trust me.
And let's keep in mind that all of this lack of communication leads to the bedroom. It's a direct line to the bedroom. I just wanted to add that.
Okay. Well, I like somebody to be honest. I actually don't mind if the truth hurts my feelings because quite frankly, I'll get over something hurting my feelings faster than I'll get over somebody lying to me. If you lie to me, I'll pretty much cut you off. I don't like that at all. So, with something Ming said earlier about mousy, cagey people, I kind of had to learn how to be in terms of how I communicate towards other people. I kind of had to learn how to come out of that because I used to be very mousy with it because I didn't like to hurt people's feelings. It's weird because I liked people being honest with me, but I didn't want to hurt other people's feelings. But then it would get to the point to where if I don't know, if something pushed me to the edge, all of a sudden I could be like really brutally honest and just like explode on people. But I had to just learn how to control that better, or else it just would have me pissed off for days. So yeah, now I'm more honest with people all the time so that I don't have to like hold things in and then just blow up on somebody.
Well, now hearing what we think about communication, how do you guys feel about it?
Well, a lot of that depends on our relationships that we have with our mothers, our sisters, and other women. And most women cannot take honesty, especially brutal honesty. I would say the vast majority of them can't. And most women, I'm sure that brothers that have dealt with women in the circle will say that I would say 90% of women would like the pretty lie rather than the hard truth.
You can be honest. You can be honest with your woman, but you can't always tell her the truth.
Aha! Love that. Love that. Love that.
Let's define. I want to define taking.
Say that one more time, Brother Valdez.
In other words, a lie of commission is different from a lie of omission. You have to omit some things.
One more time.
Yeah, you can you can be honest with your woman, but you can't always tell her the truth.
Well, okay, but let's define taking it. When you said a woman won't take it. What do you consider taking it? Standing there stoically and going through the situation without any shred of emotion?
No, she
Or
won't.
could taking it also look like
She can't
at
get
the
over
end
it.
of the
No,
day?
no, 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 no.
Or can't get over
She
it?
can't get
Okay.
over. In other words, okay. Uh, there's some things that you're going to be honest. Say in an early relationship, you're going to be honest with your woman because you're going to try. Because every man tries. Trust and believe. Every man tries. He's going to give her something that's going to piss her off and see how she takes it. And if he gives it to her, she gets pissed off. She's going to get pissed off. Okay, she's going to get upset. She might cry. She might boohoo. The thing is, what does she do a week from now, a month from now, 6 months from now? Is she gonna hold on to it like a little stone in her gullet and bring it back up? In other words, can she take it, digest it, rectify the situation, and move on? That
Mm-hmm.
depends on whether a man is actually gonna uh, uh, Valdez says.
Well,
Uh,
well.
can you be honest when can you tell her the truth? And it's like,
Yep.
okay, I'm not gonna lie to her, but I'm gonna omit that. And sometimes it's that dance. Okay, she knows that
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna admit it because she doesn't want to hear it, and she don't want you
But
to
you
bring
know
it up.
what?
Go ahead.
My question would be this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, and I think part of the issue is, like I said, so I started off with a soft, tender heart in my, early childhood. I was very
Mm-hmm.
sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so my family did everything they could basically to tease that out of me,
Mm-hmm.
which toughened me up. So I got the
Mm-hmm.
ability to hear things that hurt my feelings,
Mm-hmm.
without it like killing me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, it looks like, okay, fine. So a lot of people don't have a lot of experience. A lot of women don't have a lot of experience with people just giving them the hard truth and being like, live with it because it's true. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so now you get to this position where you're like, okay, well, I don't want to tell them the truth. So you probably walked into this relationship with a woman you want to be open and honest with, and you
Mm-hmm.
probably did start off by saying, well, I want to be honest, but when was the first time you were honest? Were you the first time you were honest? Did you sit down and, in a moment when you weren't in the middle of a fight, sit down and be honest with her? Or was the first time when you were in the middle of the fight and you blurted it out in a way where maybe you kind of regretted the way you said it? Maybe it was a little harsher than you meant it to be. Maybe it was a little bit in her face. Maybe it was a little bit tit for tat because y'all were fighting. Like, how did
Mm-hmm.
you approach that truth the very first time? So I think that makes a difference as well as to how well
See,
someone's going to take
Can
it.
I
there,
interject for a second?
therein lies the issue right there. Truth is truth.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't matter how you say it. Shouldn't matter how you go about saying it because it's a reality. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why most men, when they're in relationships, they cannot always tell that woman the truth because if the woman doesn't want to accept the truth, that becomes the excuse. It's how you said it or how you went about it or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Truth is truth.
That is true, but the way, again, you know what? If I'm gonna use the truth against you as a weapon in a fight, that is a very different thing than me sitting down and talking to you about the truth, not as a weapon, not to hurt you, but when it's clear that obviously I'm not trying to use it against you, I'm trying to share it with you. There's
There's a
there is a difference,
there's a
Have,
word
right?
for that.
have,
There's a
have you?
word for that. It's called
Even
perception.
speaking to, even
Yeah,
no, but even with men, no, there's a difference.
no, what I'm saying is okay. Now, every man has gone through this, where
Mhm.
you'll be just
Test.
inadvertently just talking,
We
and
hear you.
you'll say something that you don't say something that the woman doesn't like.
Mhm.
Okay, you're telling the truth. She's saying something that like, and it doesn't even go through your head that she's going to get upset about it.
Mhm.
Okay, she gets upset about it. You said, okay, that didn't go well. And then 6 months later, she keeps bringing it back up. You keep asking her, say, why are you upset about this? Or why?
Mhm.
What is it about this that you're upset about? And she will not let it go. She will
Mhm.
conjure up every other excuse, every other circumstance to kind of hide the fact that okay, it hurt her feelings, and she didn't like that truth that you gave her, and she'll
Can
give
I
you.
say something for this?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. By the way, how you doing, gentlemen? Woo.
Hey,
And to the ladies,
Hello.
What's
you
good,
doing
brother
okay?
Hello.
Franklin?
Ladies?
Mhm.
And how you doing, Kat?
How you doing?
Especially.
I'm not saying this is every. I'm not saying this is every
Meow.
woman. Meow.
Candygram for Mongo.
You know what? Forget all of you on the panel. I swear.
Go ahead, Officer Charles. Jump
Oh,
in.
normally this is safe for the B.G.S. None of you are shit. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I'll say I'll say this comment right now. I've learned this in my recently 36 years of life.
Mm-hmm.
Men have memories. Women keep grudges. I mean, y'all will remember like shit that encyclopedias forgot about. And this, like what Valdez said, we like to give you directions, but we'll leave out a few turns because we know it's going to turn into Mean Street in somehow, some way. Every woman I've dealt with who said I like the truth. Okay, here's the truth. Even if I say it in the nicest way, even if we in an argument and yelling, it's not like it's gonna make a difference to y'all
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna feel as though we said it with some vindictive qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only because we believe the shit that you're not gonna get mad and early on we believe, oh, I'm not gonna get mad. I'm okay. And I'm like, no. Don't
Hey,
ask her.
can I ask a question?
Go ahead,
Go
Jay.
ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
Is it me, or maybe the women today are not as mature as say our grandparents were?
No, it's no, that's a fact. There's a lot of women that are well, a lot of people. Period. It's not just the women.
Well,
And
yeah,
Also,
it's
Yeah,
not the ladies.
yeah.
Very mature.
Yeah.
because you can tell a woman in my grandmother's era the truth. I mean, women used to deal with finding out a man had another family on the other side of town and keep it
Mm-hmm.
moving. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They used to find out some real shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I
you
agree.
just finding out some
Yeah,
chick.
that's
You Instagramming some chick and you flipping out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But see,
because your
but
survival.
see, this is
Yeah, go ahead, Millie. Me.
this is the thing with what Charles just said and the whole lying and omission. I do believe leaving things out are lying through omission, and me and my husband have gotten into it or had a deep conversation about it. And you
Mm-hmm.
guys think you're protecting us for whatever reason, but I
Mm-hmm.
will argue that you're protecting yourself
Mm-hmm.
because and by lying through that omission, you're also thinking for me, which isn't fair.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you're trying to save yourself from whatever consequences come with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can go even further,
Hey,
you
go all the way.
also
Go
don't
all the
have
way in.
no faith in me to be able to internalize what you said, calculate it correctly, and give you the appropriate response. Now,
Bingo.
granted,
Can I? Can I?
all women can't do that, but
Mm-hmm.
looking at her past behavior, it'll be a good indicator to her future behavior. So if you dated her and she couldn't handle small things, you
Mm-hmm.
guys shouldn't even be into the big things.
You
Right.
know
Can I
you
give
know
an
what
And
that
answer in the
Mhm.
form of a
Go,
question?
go ahead.
Go
sure.
ahead. Go ahead, LAR. Go ahead. Go ahead.
How do you have a conversation with a person who has a million trigger words
Thank you.
and their emotions change with each word?
See now, and L.A.R, I agree with you, but I would posit that that's not the kind of woman who is ready for a relationship yet. And
And
That
that
is
is
that's
the
my
the same
normal
reason why
inconvenience.
you're
woman, though.
engaging in a
So,
That's
relationship
not the
too.
normal woman.
yes, it
It
is.
is.
Oh, it
It
is.
is. It
that's
Well,
is.
like
well,
that's like a man calls you guys unicorns. Okay.
you know
okay,
what
so. It
okay.
would be
subject
safe to say that most women aren't
Hey,
ready
hold on. Can
for
I
a
say something?
Go,
Can I
relationship.
say something?
go ahead, cats. Go ahead. No,
This,
go ahead.
this,
Let cats get
Go
in.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Cat.
But
Go
would it
ahead,
be
Lady
safe
Cat.
to say that most young women aren't ready for a
Ooh,
relationship then?
well, no,
Right.
wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. My mother is 80 years old.
Uh
Mhm.
huh.
She's got trigger words. Okay.
And people have some trigger words, but I guess my point is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that if we continue to say, well, you know what, it's okay, these people don't have to grow and mature and deal with their inner issues and whatever, because we're just going to
Mm-hmm.
continue having relationships and families and marrying them and giving them children and whatever, because and treating them as though they're grown when they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, they haven't grown and they haven't matured past
Mm-hmm.
their issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, it's like, okay, well, is
That's
that
called.
really the way? Of course, they're still 80 years old and they're still in the place that they were at 15 because, it was never an issue. And that's what I say. If you want a healthy relationship, then maybe don't have relationships with people who aren't ready for healthy relationships. If you're ready for a healthy relationship,
bingo.
There's gonna be a small group of women that everybody's gonna be chasing. Then,
well, Ruby,
Absolutely.
welcome to
That's
being
how
a
it's supposed
man.
to be.
Welcome to what men feel every day.
Let me
See,
let me ask you ladies this. What actually constitutes a relationship? I hear women always say relationship. What constitutes a relationship for you ladies? And I'll see if the brothers agree. Do I have to play my cricket sound effect? I have it.
I'm
I
just
have it
thinking
ready.
on how I want to formulate my response.
We want a sushi. We want sushi. We don't want cooked.
You want it raw? You
And
want it
hold
raw?
on. Can I establish something while they thinking? While y'all thinking,
we
can I
want
establish something real quick?
old dirty bastard raw. Okay.
I like it raw.
Go ahead, brother J. Stein. Go ahead.
I just want to establish something real quick before we go any
Go ahead,
further.
Jay.
Ladies, I want y'all to understand something. Y'all, they already told you, y'all the unicorns, okay? All right, that's one thing. But two, and most importantly, we are men. We fuck women. So we deal with women. So when we telling you what we dealing with in relationships, you gotta, give us, a little, give us a little bit with that because we deal with women.
I respect that.
Well, Lady Mean,
we don't know about.
Well, Lady Mean got a daughter that's a Pisces. Okay.
She's 23.
And you know what
I'm
I'm
just
talking
saying,
about, don't you,
L.A.R was saying that, they got, and this he's talking about what we deal with.
Just let it go. Just let it go. Let it go, ladies. And hold up. Let me chastise my audience right quick. Now I'm looking here at these here likes, and somehow, some way, they are not matching the view number. And y'all know I hate that shit.
Well, we'll take the if you want to donate to the other link, we'll take that. If you don't want to hit a like, we'll get the donate link. We'll take
exactly. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and get that there because maybe y'all prefer
the donate link.
Instead of hitting the like, you prefer to hit this here. I guess you prefer to hit this here. See that right there? See that link right there, that Streamlabs link? And if you can't get through, you can go to the main page of the YouTube page, and I got 2 PayPals that you can hit there. You can hit donate to TPOT Media or prophetic donations. They all end up in the same place. Thank you. Carry on.
We should some church music past the plate.
If you do neither, we'll just play like some UB40 or something.
UB40.
At least play some Frankie Beverly or something. God damn, no, not of that damn polka. Not of
it's gotta be something that they don't like.
Plus,
exactly.
Not only that. Let me continue my chastising of you. Look at all of this talent on this panel. I mean, I got the unicorns. I got Brother L.A.R. I got Brother Valdez, the master teacher, Jay Shine, Brother Faulkner. You can't get a better panel than this. This has gotta be worth a like and some goddamn money. Come on. Come on.
Okay, so
carry on, panel.
Pay the man.
I actually want to play devil's advocate for a minute. I actually disagree with the concept of being more open. I think relationships were better when we didn't share every last thought we had. I think men. See, here's the thing about men. Here's the thing about us that women have yet to accept. We are some fucked up individuals when it comes to the shit we think about. Like, I understand women want to get to know their man and want to understand how we think, but you don't want to go in there. Like, you really don't want to go into your man's mind and start poking around, because you're gonna see some weird shit you're not gonna like. Like, you're not gonna. you know,
I agree with you on that. And you know what? I do agree. And I think that with the advent of Facebook and people being able to see everything that everyone thinks all the time, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you follow your man on all these things. And so stuff that really isn't meant for you to know that he's thinking about throughout the day, you know about. Yeah, I do actually think that that breeds a lot of insecurity, and a lot of mistrust, and stuff like that between relationships. So I agree 100% on that one. I don't think that we should know everything. And I think if you took away this false sense of intimacy that is social media, people would understand, I think, a little bit more and actually appreciate a little bit more real honesty. Because again,
yeah,
I don't
because
need to honestly know every single thing you ever think, but you know what I mean? It's good to be open and honest about things where they would matter one way
yeah,
or the other.
Exactly.
because you don't want to. What's a good example? Okay, like for instance, you don't want to know that your man likes midget porn.
Oh, not at all. Oh my God, no.
You know what I mean? Like,
Not at all.
But
Not,
some
Dang, that
do.
was
too
so
much.
passionate.
Overshare. Control. Alt.
like
Delete.
nobody wants to know that.
I
That
Nobody.
that
really don't.
that depends on how short your girlfriend is.
I don't think they could ever be short enough.
Midget porn.
But you know
That
what?
makes
I can jump in on this a little bit because a question was asked what we think relationships are. And before I get into that, I will speak to the omission and being honest and being open and all of that stuff. There, you omitting things depending on the severity of what you omit. I don't classify that as lying or being untruthful. It's called, in my mind, being, because I've thought many things about my husband. I'm not going to give voice to all of that because, well, don't ever think that it's not possible to hurt a man's feelings. I could have hurt his feelings unintentionally, have. So you got to think about, every filter, whatever come up can't come out. Just because it's the truth and it's about you doesn't necessarily mean I have to tell it to you. And vice versa. He spared my feelings many times, and many times I was thankful about that, whether I knew about it or not. Um, as far as knowing everything about, listen, like I said, he was able to be private because my husband was private. He wasn't secretive, but he was private. When he went out and he hung with his boys or whatever he did, I don't require to report to me. I don't want to know what you and your boys did. You was with your boys. That's a whole nother you that I don't need to be privy to. So you do that over there and you be who you are with your boys and whatever y'all doing. I don't need a report for that. I don't need a summary of it. I need nothing because I'm not even going to ask. Whatever you tell me you did that day is voluntarily. I will not ask you. I expected the same. Now I was with my girls. I don't report back to you what I did, what we said, the conversation we had, because they made that mistake as a young married woman, telling my husband shit that I was talking about with somebody else, pissed him all the way off. And I didn't know he was going to be pissed off.
You
He's
know
like, oh,
oh
okay. Don't
oh
you know
believe
what
that.
you know what, Kendra, if you did find out what he was doing with his boys, you would be surprised because did you ever go to B.G.S's channel and hear me and Charles Faulkner in there arguing over who was better, Superman or Batman?
Superman.
Yes, sir.
You would hear some shit like that. 9 times out of 10, it'll be some arbitrary argument about some old technical shit like, well, I don't think that Superman is better because it is, or something to that effect, or to be something about sports, or to be very rarely, like every once in a while, you're gonna hear fellas talking raunchy and shit, but man, most of the time, dudes, especially when dudes get to a certain age, man, we ain't like we splitting no damn atoms nowhere, no shit like that.
And so, see, those are the things that whether it was mundane, whether it was something he really, really didn't want me to know. See, all of that, I don't give a shit. Because sometimes what I don't know don't hurt me. So I'm good. As long as he not out there doing no shit that's gonna come back and fuck us up,
Yeah.
I'm good. You know what I'm saying? That's all I don't want is you to go out there and do some shit that's finna fuck us up. You know what I'm saying? The one thing I don't want you secretive about are the things that I need to know in order to move accordingly. Don't be so secretive until I don't know your move. I can't move with you. I'm just left out in the cold. You just come up with some shit that you doing. Are we moving next month? How the fuck are we moving next month? You didn't tell me that. You know what I'm saying? The
And
fuck?
there are men
I
out
pay
here
the
like
bill,
that.
so we moving. Like, okay, can you give me a heads up? Can you, I search for the apartment. You can't. I'm a unit. I'm a unit.
Can I answer that one?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, brother.
We have two different styles of communication. With men, actions speak louder than words, and with women, words speak louder than action. We trying to do something, we don't want to talk about it for 7 years to make sure it's right to every specification to make you feel good. When stuff.
And see, that's fine.
But that's what gets in the way with men and women, because when stuff really needs to be done, I hate to say it this way, but while a man is doing something that needs to be done, a woman is probably yelling about something that really doesn't need to be yelled about at the time.
And I get that. I've witnessed women do that, you know what I'm saying, and get into minutia details that aren't as important right at the moment, and just aren't able to really prioritize different things. Like, I get, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that don't happen or whatever. I'm not saying that I've never been guilty of it. But at the same time, all that I want is the communication so I can move with you. That's all I want. Just want to be able to. If I'm your support system, let me support. Just let me support. That's all I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to get in your way. I'm not here to make myself an obstacle. I'm not here to fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? I want the best for both of us.
Or to emasculate you.
For both of us. I'm not going to say or do nothing that impugn your dignity as a human and a man.
You know what? I'll tell you something. You know when I've done this? You know when I've done this? I've done it.
Lady Kendra. And for the brothers out there in the Chicago area,
you
might be wanting to try to holler at Lady Kendra because you might need a woman like that in your life. I'm just letting y'all know, brothers in the Chicago area.
Hashtag fish brief.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? The thing is, here's the thing. So I'll tell you when I have ended up arguing about some shit instead of just talking about the thing at hand, like you said, big move, something like that, is when your story comes out like this. So I was talking to so and so about this and whatever, and I decided I'm gonna quit my job or whatever it is. And it's like, wait, what? You were talking to someone that wasn't me? And you made a big fucking life decision with someone that wasn't me? That shit bothers me, I'll tell you. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get caught up in the little details of why the fuck were you talking to that person? Why are you talking? Like, you can have friends all you want and whatever, but if I'm gonna make a big life decision, I might talk to. I mean, honestly, I'm not a big talker, but I might talk to a bunch of other people. But he's the one that I'm gonna be talking to before I make a decision. Right? And that's not because I have to check with him or whatever, but it's because if he's my life partner, then I have to make life partner decisions with him. I'm supposed to talk out the pros and cons of life partner decisions with him because he's the other person sharing this life with me, right? Hold on, I just want to say, so this is where, to me, communication, if you have the lines of communication that are already open, you've already established that level of trust and value within each other, you'll never get to the place where you're talking to someone else and making decisions with someone else outside of your relationship before you talk to the person in your relationship, or before you make a decision. They will always be that touchstone.
Well, here's the one thing they said to y'all earlier. Y'all are unicorns, right? Because every man on this panel has heard one of these three phrases. You ain't my daddy. You ain't nobody. Or who are you?
Yeah.
When it came to making life decisions.
Yeah.
So
that you ain't my daddy shit. That's the most ignorant shit I have ever heard. That is the most little girl, immature. like shit I have ever heard in my fucking life. I
Yeah.
hate when I hear women say that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
ain't
that's
my
really
daddy. Like Tamar says that a lot because she's the last person I heard say it. Tamar Braxton, like grown ass woman, no fucking shit.
Well, I figure the women who say shit like that are the ones who don't have daddies, because if they did, then they'd understand the difference between when your dad tells you what you are and aren't doing, and when your man wants to have a discussion with you about your life decisions and feels like he shouldn't have been left out of this because he's sharing his life with you, right? So again, this is where I think, that immaturity comes into play, that, you are not quite ready to have the type of relationship you're trying to have. Because if you're in a marriage, then the conversation, if you married someone, you're in a marriage, you're raising a family together, the conversation, you ain't my daddy, the thought should never cross your mind. It shouldn't. Because if that's where you're at, y'all shouldn't be married. Like,
Well, unfortunately, a lot of incomplete people get married, and that and
Yeah.
basically,
Mm-hmm.
that's how come I wanted to start my women's channel, because a whole lot of women don't know themselves,
mm,
and
Mm-hmm.
before you can accept brutal honesty, you have to know who you really are, and there's
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot of people, well, on both sides, really on both sides, but um, but the thing is, men get attacked for it because it's odd for a man that doesn't know himself. It's obvious.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole lot of there's a
He
whole
can't
lot of
hide.
incomplete people.
Mm,
There's a whole lot of incomplete people getting into relationships, and let's face it, in this day and age, a relationship now is the equivalent of marriage because most people don't move in with each other and shit like that.
right.
So there's a shitload of incomplete people just in relationships together, and they don't know how to relate.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
And they make it
true.
worse by having kids.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, that's compounded
Very-
interest.
Can
Jesus.
I
mm,
add one other thing to that?
Mm,
They expect the other person to make them whole.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
yeah.
problem,
You know,
L.A.R.
it's
Yep.
funny.
Very
What's funny
much.
you were
Very
saying
much.
that? I just told somebody today at the district, nobody on this planet can make you happy or sad. They can increase it or decrease it, but it's up to you to be happy or sad. It's up to you to stay there. And a lot of people are looking for that one person to make their asses happy. How can I make a person happy if you're always sad?
right.
That's
Mhm.
like rolling a boulder uphill.
Well, it's because they're listening to love songs, and love songs talk about finding someone who completes you, who feels
Right.
the whole. And the thing is someone else
Mm-hmm.
can't complete you. You must be a complete person. And you're not going to be happy unless you are a complete person and you meet another complete person, and the two of you come together, right? You can't be two halves of the same whole, literally, because then you're only half of a person, and half of a person can't function independently. That means you have to be dependent, or you have to be codependent, instead of just being able to be independent, but come together and then merge your lives, merge your goals, merge your whatever together to become a
hmm
team. You can't be a team if you're only half a person or you're trying to fill a hole.
Well, that's why that series about anima animus is so important, because it's
Mm-hmm.
what goes on all the time. Is that a man is not unless he has that inner woman inside himself that's developed. He's not a complete person, and so he's looking for a female, a woman that has fits his imprint to carry that incomplete part of him. And same
Yeah.
thing, and vice versa with a woman. That's like the real extreme example of a woman is the pimp hoe situation, where that woman is actually looking um, for that man to carry her animus, carry her. She can't control herself internally, can't control herself, so she needs a man to actually do it. And that's an extreme case. What I'm saying is that's
Mm.
what happened. That's an extreme
Mm,
case, but
mhm.
that's what happens. Or a guy that looks at this sending $1,000, $1,500 a month to an Instagram model because he's not a
Mm,
complete person. That's an extreme case, but that's what happens. You have a lot. We have people that are incomplete because they haven't done the inner work, and that's the vast majority of people, unfortunately.
yeah,
Well,
it's true.
do you believe that a lot of people go into relationships for the wrong reasons? I mean,
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the right reasons may necessarily be, but
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of people go into relationships for the total wrong reasons. They haven't worked on themselves yet.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
haven't got themselves together yet. Now they want to, join with someone else.
Man,
The,
there's
an
a
external
whole
relationship is easier than an internal relationship, believe me.
man,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
there's a shitload of people who are in 2, 3, and 4 year one night stands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
Perfect
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a perfect way to put that. And I would add to that, I agree completely. Getting into the relationships, like you said, whether the right reasons can maybe be subjective, but the wrong reasons are usually those superficial, flighty reasons that if that
Hmm.
condition changes, which likely it will,
Hmm.
what will your relationship be?
Hmm.
Stupid reasons to get into a relationship. Oh, girl, he look good and he got some money. Well, what if he gets into a car accident, disfigures his face, and goes
Exactly.
bankrupt? Now what are you gonna do?
Hmm.
You gonna leave is what you're gonna do because the relationship wasn't based on anything. You have to have some type of security within yourself. I don't agree with everything that Iyanla says, but one thing she said I did agree with. If you're not in relationship with yourself, how you gonna be in good relationship with other people? And that is very true. If you don't have any
Come on,
self
beloved.
control, any security within yourself and knowing who you are, then you don't have
Yes,
any
beloved.
business getting into a serious relationship. And a relationship, in my definition, is what me and that man agree that it is, not what I think it is, not what we suppose it is. We have to have a conversation about what it is, because for a lot of women, me having sex with you is a relationship.
Who was that you just
Hmm.
quoted?
But I want to add,
Young one.
I,
Sister
I just want to,
Van Zandt, beloved.
You, you
yeah,
quote
I just
she
want to
quoted
add,
who?
Iyanla Van Zant.
Iyanla,
Iyanla,
beloved.
yeah, Iyanla
Oh,
Van Sant, yeah.
I want a hazmat. I wonder.
Oh my goodness. But to that, Kendra, I just want to add like another reason why people get into certain relationships. Sometimes it's because they're running from another situation, be it another relationship or home or, something else that they're running from insecurity to what they perceive as security.
Hmm.
Or
Um,
convenience.
or convenience, yeah, like they get into relationships hoping to better their personal situation
Hmm.
through this person. Both
Hmm.
men and women do it, and then
Hmm.
from there they just kind of like person hop, or they find themselves in very controlling and abusive relationships. Because what I found in my 39 years is the only men that's willing to give you a whole bunch of something for nothing is the ones who end up planning on getting something for nothing
Right.
Hmm.
back.
Yep.
Hmm.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? That's been my
Absolutely.
experience. But one thing that Universal Jones said that stuck with me one time, brother X had him on just as a primary single guest, was we were talking about post traumatic stress syndrome, but he said current traumatic syndrome. And I was like, damn, you're right. Everybody is walking around here currently stressed out and going through some things. It's not post, it's current,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and they're
Well,
looking to the partner to come along and help them sort out the messy details, and since a lot of that happens and we are aware that it happens, and you're aware when you're doing it, because people are aware, they know the hell that their asses are energy vampires or they need some fixing up. That's the reason why they're predatory, and they're trying to find those pieces that fit. But if you're going to do that, then take it all the way and get some goddamn counseling, because nine
mhm.
times out of ten the only person that will accept you is another broken individual.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
worst
Absolutely.
That's
advice
it.
I
That's
heard a woman
all.
give another woman, the worst advice I heard another woman give another woman is when they broke up with another man or get mad at a man, and they say, "What you need to do, girl, now is when you get over a man, get under another one." And that's the
Yep.
worst advice you can give
Hmm.
a woman.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Hey,
That's a
Bury your
temporary
That's
fix.
dumb.
bury your pain.
That's
they don't know
stupid.
how to be
it's
Bury your
single,
pain.
man.
Yeah.
They don't
Bury
know how
your
to
no,
chill.
it's
That
Yeah,
that
true.
don't
that
even
that
give
that
I
their
mean, I'll
love
be
trauma.
enough
honest.
time.
From experience, it works. Oh my
pain.
God, it works. But
It
what you
works.
No,
do
it don't.
is,
No, it
what you
don't.
end up
No, it
doing.
Yeah, it
Let me
don't.
does.
tell you
Yeah,
how
it
it. Let
does.
me tell you why it works, and also at the same time why it does not. It
Hmm.
works to get your mind off of that guy, but what you do is you transfer that energy from
Hmm.
that guy and you put it into the new guy, and what you do is start a whole new batch of issues.
Well,
Yep.
yeah,
And then it starts all over again. So in your mind, it has actually worked because you're no longer into Jim because now you're fucking Bob. But guess what? You're in love with Bob all of a sudden. We see this shit in Sansaray. That's a clear fucking case example of somebody getting from under one man, getting from over one man under another man and transferring the issues.
Well, exactly,
It's
and that's
called
what I was
it's
gonna say.
called it's called ball of hopscotch.
You know what? It comes down to
The old monkey branching.
well,
Monkey branch from penis to penis, boy. Just
Yep.
monkey branch.
Good old penis swinging.
you know what the thing is though is that functional people don't think that way. So if you are actually emotionally healthy and whole and a relationship that you were really into falls apart, the last thing in the world that you are thinking of doing or are gonna do is to sleep with anyone else because you know what, you're just not ready yet. Because you need time. You need time to heal from the pain and to get over the angst and to stop seeing his face around every corner and to stop, wanting to drunk dial him, et cetera, et cetera. And you know that functionally, you haven't even gotten to the place where you're actually trying to look at what fell apart in the
Can I
relationship and
um
how to take
Can I
and hold on,
interject?
if I could just finish, and how to take personal accountability for your parts in the way that the relationship fell apart and et cetera, et cetera. This is what really healthy people actually do during the whole entire grieving process, losing a relationship. The thing is that the average person isn't very healthy when they've broken apart a relationship to begin with. They are not very healthy during the breakup. They're not very healthy during that period of time. And so as a result, they choose to engage in dysfunctional coping mechanisms. So that way they don't really have to think too hard, take the accountability, feel and live in the pain, try to recover from it, try to learn any lessons, so on and
Live
so
in the
forth.
pain, beloved.
Hmm?
That's right, beloved. I got Iyanla Van Zant in my head right now. Every time you say something, I think Iyanla Van Zant.
Here's the thing.
I
You
was
Go ahead.
wondering who
kind
did
of
that.
you
Go ahead,
kind of
brother.
you
Go ahead,
kind of
brother
jump
Valdez.
you kind of jump to a different subject. You jump from, okay, I get the part about going from one relationship to another relationship, but you said sleeping with somebody.
Mm.
That's a
Well,
whole nother thing when you from the standpoint of the male perspective.
Look.
okay. Well,
Mhm.
I would say that realistically is that from male or female, I think what it comes down to is many, if not all, relationships start with you're not going to sit there these days. You don't court people for 6 months, right? Like that's not what happens. And a lot of times what ends up happening is you're single, you're ready to mingle. What are you doing? You're going out there to get people's numbers, have sex with them. And at the end of the day, sometimes it works out where, hey, I got a connection with this person. Maybe I want to see them again. That's what seems to happen. What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, healthy people who just got out of a relationship, a real one, and now they're, sitting there brokenhearted, the very next thing they're doing is not trying to fuck their problems away, or trying to jump into a new relationship tomorrow or whatever it is, because they know they're not ready to do that. They know that they're not ready to engage in no strings attached sex and to engage into a new relationship and a new commitment. At the end of the day, they know they need some time. And when they're ready, they'll go out and they'll do all those things because
I
they're ready.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
Because for men, sexual act is not an emotional act. And
Right.
a lot of time for guys, in order for a guy to get over another woman, one of the easiest things he can do to get over a woman or get over a relationship is to actually have sex with a woman. Not
Well,
to get in a relationship with the woman, but to actually get his mind off of the other woman.
well, that's what we've just said about the getting over one man is to get underneath another. It's the same
That
thing, but it's
it's
still the
not the
same
same thing because it's
dysfunctional
not the same thing.
way of dealing with
You're
it.
talking about two different sexes. It's not the same thing.
Hey, can
Okay.
I can I
Well,
can
For a
I can I
woman,
admit
we're gonna have
something?
to disagree we're gonna have to agree to
Nah,
disagree on
hold
that one.
on. Can I admit something? Can I divulge some private information?
Go ahead, brother.
When I had my first love and she crushed me and left me, you know, I went through a little depression. I hated women. I didn't want to deal with women for like a good 3 months. When I came out of the depression, this is how it's different from men. I went to the club for about a year straight and I fucked everything that moved. You understand? To get my damn confidence back. But it wasn't emotional for me. It was just about my ego. You know what I'm saying?
But what
So
did
with
you
men,
say
it's not
first?
emotional. The only time it's really emotional for men is when we have that situation where we just broke up with a woman that we cared about and we doubling back. That's really the only time it's really emotional for us. Other than that, being a man
But
is right.
Jason, you just agreed with me. You said what? The first 3 months, what did you do? Were you out there fucking people the next day, or were you taking some time to get through that initial stage, right? Which is what you did. So it's still, again, it works differently for men. Sure, of course, the whole entire process of, dating, relationship, sex, whatever, are different between men and women, but it still came down to heart was broken. What did you do? You took some time first, and then you went out and, got your mojo back, right? Because that's what you do, right? Girls might cut their fucking hair, lose some weight, change their wardrobe, whatever it is, right? We're gonna deal with the different processes differently, but the initial response was, I hate women. I'm not fucking women. I'm not anything, right? What if you had gone out in that mood and went and fucked women? It would have been a different thing, because it would have been hate fucking, but you're hate fucking this girl over here, but it's because you hate your ex. You know what I mean?
Doesn't matter if it's hate fucking, if it's a
but
dude.
it did, because again, he decided not to. There's a reason why you go through that initial period where
the ejaculatory process is the same whether you're
exactly whether you're rubbing one,
it's all about ejaculating.
Whether you're rubbing one out or whether you're like having no strings attached sex. Here's the thing.
It's called mission accomplished.
This is why.
Jay Shine said he did it. So even if you're going to say that, I'm just saying, okay, Jay Shine said, well, this is how it's different, but he took some time first.
Now hold on. Okay. Most times when men
hold on for a second. Now, Classic Ruby, a second ago you were talking and I interjected and you was like, "Let me just finish," and you went on for another good 4 minutes. Okay, so let me finish what I'm saying.
I apologize, sir.
Okay, for men, when we get into a relationship with a woman, meaning the male process of a dude deciding, because see, this is what you gotta realize. Until a dude decides a woman is worthy of dealing with, okay, all women are a potential victim. That's bad. I should have said that. All women are potential, sexual conquest until
victim.
Until you've decided that this woman is okay. I want to be with this woman. I want to deal with this woman. Then it becomes emotional for us. Right. Okay. So then it becomes emotional. So I agree. See, the reason why I'm saying that, if a woman breaks up with a guy and then she goes to have sex with another guy to solve the problem, just to have no strings attached sex, that's not going to solve the problem for her, because women attach emotional feelings to sex. Men, we don't do that. Like, we're the opposite. Like, we have sex, and what we do is we attach emotions to it later. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't become an emotional thing to us until we're in the actual relationship.
Valdez, you're making us sound like barbarians, Valdez.
Because we are.
But it's true. Like every man I've ever talked to says that.
But I'm still ultimately, we're still addressing Jay Shine's story, where Jay Shine said the first few months where he was in that depression, he fucking hated women and da-da-da. He had to go through that period first, and then he went out and for a year fucked like a rabbit, fucked anything that moved.
Okay, so
hold on.
So
watch what I was trying to make those.
Let me ask you a question. Go ahead. When you broke up when that breakup happened, if now every guy goes through their feeling sorry for themselves phase, all right? But let's say the very next day after that breakup, you was walking around moping and you went to the store and some chick started looking at you and presented herself like she wanted to do something. What would have happened?
Oh, she would have got fucked.
She'd have got smashed. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's the point.
That's what I was going to try to say, because when I was in my depression, I didn't go nowhere.
You didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I was purposely didn't go nowhere. And the point I was trying to make, though, Ruby, is this: it was emotional for me way later. You know what I mean? Like after the relationship was over, it was usually when it gets emotional for us, it's too late. It's at the end of the relationship. You know what I mean? Or it's like years down the line, or we missing the chick because we broke up with her. That you know what I'm saying? That's when it gets emotional for us. But usually, sex is just yo, man, I want to see what she gonna do today.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, right, is that I think that I don't want what I'm trying to say to be misconstrued. What I am saying at the end of the day, I'm not saying that, well, if a man fucked a woman the next day, he'd fall in love with her. Right? That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that emotionally, the breakup to the person you did love, and wanted to be with, probably maybe dreamt future about whatever, it hurt. You need to take time to recover from that, right? Now, realistically, regardless of what the impact would have been, it probably would have overall been a worse impact for you when you were at that place where you felt like shit, for you to be out doing a lot of different things, which is why you hole up. During a depression, you hole up. There's a reason for that, right? You come out of the depression, then you start engaging on rebuilding and, recuperating basically. Women, obviously, we do tie emotionality to sex, except honestly, sometimes we don't. And sometimes we tie our own, I guess, self confidence to whether or not we can get some dick, which doesn't make any sense because we're women. We always can. And that in and of itself gives us a fucked up perception. There's a bunch of different things that are going on. I'm just saying ultimately that healthy people, they don't. They give themselves time. They give themselves a break. They give themselves a period to process
Can
You
I
things.
ask a question?
you said
But
one thing that
I
I
think
believe is an urban myth. You
Okay.
said one thing that I honestly believe is an urban myth.
Mhm.
I don't believe women can have sex without attaching
That's
emotions.
not true.
Nope, not at all.
I did it my whole 20s. I'm sorry, check my unicorn box there too. But I dated like a man. I swear to God, I did. I didn't have emotional
Come on,
attachments.
man. Don't
I was
ruin
doing
this
what
for
I
me.
wanted to do.
Y'all know
Man,
my story about the
But you
glamorous whore. I
usually
love the glamorous whore.
when
That's
women
what
do
she
that, they
did.
hoe.
She went around the
They
world to
hoe.
fuck.
Hey,
Right?
you can
Right,
call
they
me
hoe.
whatever you wanted to call me because I still did it classy and did what the hell I wanted to do. Shit, to me, it wasn't no harm, no foul. You don't scream, I didn't holler. What the hell?
Fair exchange, Lady Me.
I
Yeah,
think
it has never been a robbery. You know what I'm saying?
I
And I
think
was the type of chick where we could see each other out, dap each other up, shit, talk some shit. You could be trying to talk to somebody else I know. I didn't give a shit.
Give me another
Like
phone.
that's just that's the frame of mind I was in
Let
that
me
Where
point
were
in
the
say.
time in
ladies like
life.
Well,
you in my
let me
20s?
say this.
I know a lot
Let
of
me
Where were
men
the
say
like
this.
ladies
that,
like you
man.
in my
One at a
20s?
time.
Let,
I
One
let
at a
me
think
time. One at a
I
time.
think
let,
um I
let me
think brother LAR want to get in here. Go ahead, brother LAR.
Uh, all I'm gonna say is we have two different mode of operation. Guys, women don't have any skin in the game when we have relationships. We got to do all the work. So our emotions don't get involved in relationships because we don't really know what y'all about because y'all don't put any effort into the relationship until later.
what do you
Um,
mean by that?
what?
What I mean by
Explain
that
out.
is we approach, we court, we date, we get to know you, we do all that while we're having sex with you. Y'all don't reciprocate that until later.
Yeah.
Wow,
So we
really?
don't really know how down you are until later.
Yeah.
So we get
Additionally,
emotionally attached later when you actually start putting forth an effort to actually show you care.
yeah. Women
Yeah,
don't
I never
usually.
showed I gave a shit during that time period
Yeah.
in my life.
Women don't
Man, you a
usually.
dog.
Women don't usually put. From the moment a guy meets a chick, he's auditioning. He's like the fucking one of the candidates for American Idol. Like he's auditioning for his spot, and it isn't until he actually gets the ass that the woman starts saying, "Okay, now I got to put in some work," because you know what I'm saying. Usually that's
No.
usually
See, I don't know.
usually
I
that's
disagree with this.
And let me tell this story real quick because people in the comments calling me gangster and cold blooded. I'm gonna tell y'all how gangster and cold blooded I really was. Okay, early 20s. I'm living in St. Louis. I'm
I'm
still
gonna
in
do how.
undergrad, and at that time I was dealing with this dude who was kind of a big time drug dealer or whatever.
Oh,
And I'm talking
here we
about
go.
name really rolling in the streets. And I was also dealing with this other dude, but I was the type of person that would talk and tell you, "Oh, I'm dealing with somebody else." You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy your time and company. Let's go to the show. Let's grab a bite to eat. We could kick it, but I'm not really on that, and I'm dealing with so and so and so and so. Now, niggas are groupies. Niggas are real groupies to other niggas, believe it or not. Oh my God. Do you know the second guy called me one night at home and told me the first guy had just got into a fight at the club and was running back to his Benz to get his gun? I mean, literally, this nigga on my phone telling me the other nigga I'm dealing with, who apparently he's a fan of, telling me that he into some shit at the club. Me and my girls laughed about this shit forever. That's how I had it.
Hey
I didn't
man,
really give a shit.
Okay.
hey man, I got one phrase for you.
Hold on, because I gotta address some shit. I gotta address something that was said that was some flat out bullshit. So y'all are telling me that before the dude get the goodies, y'all are auditioning to be with the dude?
Of course.
No, not necessarily. But see, you talking to a person who, I'm gonna be in all honesty, especially because I'm married with children and a stay-at-home mom living really good. I could tell you the honest to God truth that I was a one-night stand type of person. I was an energy in the moment. If we'd have had a good time,
Man,
let's go ahead
Lady
and kick it,
B,
and I'll holler at you
no.
later. I'm being honest,
Okay,
and I'm
but
being
that's
honest. I'm gonna be honest with you
not.
because
But see, that's
I'm gonna
not.
be. I'm gonna be honest with you because this goes back also to the Ray Ray and Pookie conversation. The big disconnect I think a lot of people are having is that they don't think people can evolve out of those positions into other ones,
But see,
and and still maintain some of that from that position while they've grown up and became another person in their life. In my 20s, I did what the fuck I wanted to do. I
Okay,
paid the cost to be the boss.
I'm not talking about that.
Oh, I know you're talking about what Ruby said, but I'm
yeah.
addressing what Prophet X said.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm talking about
But I just
the.
interjected that because people in the comments was calling me gangster, and I wanted to give them a funny little anecdotal story about just how gangster I was.
Cold-blooded.
Slinging it.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you was out
ANGRYMAN,
there.
I get what you're
Out
saying.
there
Okay,
slinging
so
it, huh?
I was doing what I wanted to do.
okay, so I'm gonna explain to you, and again, every time I say something, people will be like, "Well, that's because you're a unicorn." I actually do think on a lot of levels it's cultural, but so yeah, the guy's gonna be the one to approach. I won't approach someone. To be honest with you, I'm an incredibly shy person, and I don't talk to people unless they talk to me first. I'm like that with like friends and stuff like that too, just in general. So now with that being said, fine. He's the one who approaches and whatever and tries to talk to me. Okay, so we go on our first date. Okay, he's the one who pays for the first date and whatever. We decide we like each other. We're gonna see each other again, and I like him, so I want him to like me. So I'm actually making an effort. I mean, yeah, obviously I'm making the effort as far as the way that I look and smell and blah 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 blah. But I'm the type who's gonna be cooking him a meal. I'm the type who's gonna be listening, asking him about him, listening to his stories, and then trying to make sure that I'm remembering details to give feedback on like later, like, remembering he's got a job interview tomorrow
Now,
or
Pete.
whatever or shit like that, right? Like, because I need him to know I'm a good woman because
Now,
I
peep
want
this.
him to invest in me like I'm a good woman.
Now, peep this. Now, everybody just heard that, right?
Yep.
She just listed off some regular shit.
Right. I did.
That's
I
regular. That's
shit.
regular.
Hold on.
Y'all not getting what I'm saying.
What is a man doing that's not regular shit?
What? What?
Seriously,
This is where it's about to go down.
Yeah.
Oh God,
What
Ruby.
is a man doing that's not doing
Bro.
regular shit? Tell me what a man does, because maybe your experience with dating is very different than mine. What is he doing that's not some regular shit?
Can I just do this one before?
Tell me.
Go ahead, L.A.R.
Sure, go ahead. I want someone to tell me what men do that is above and beyond regular shit that you just fucking do as a person anyway. I just would like to know.
Men do for women all of the shit that your family won't do for you because you're grown.
Like what?
And in that, get told that ain't shit.
Like
men do all the things for women that if women do it for men, they say you owe me for this shit until the afterlife.
Specifics, please.
Okay. We provide we provide for all your birthdays, all your experiences, all your mood swings. We do things to make you happy. We actually learn you and learn the things that you like and dislike and act on those things accordingly, even when you switch up.
Right. So exactly regular shit and the same shit that I give him. Right. No. That's regular shit. That's the same shit I give him. That's the same shit I give him.
Here's the difference, Ruby. Here's the difference, Ruby.
Okay.
Men have one personality. Y'all have 7,000.
Hold on.
Well, I have a
Here's
question
the
for
thing.
Ruby after y'all are done.
Here's the thing. All right. First of all of the stuff you listed, Ruby, it's regular shit. That's regular shit you would do. That's some shit you would do for a friend.
Right.
The stuff you just said.
That I would do for a friend. That I would do for a friend. Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on. Listen. Yeah. No, that's what anybody would do for somebody that's a friend. If the motherfucker's in your house,
yeah, absolutely.
If the motherfucker's in your house and you cooking, you ain't gonna sit there and eat in front of the motherfucker and not give him no food.
No, what I cook for him though, especially, and make him his favorite dish.
Hold on. Let me finish. You everything. See, this is where the rubber meets the road, because there's always a communication barrier between men and women, because women be thinking y'all doing some extraordinary shit.
I don't think I do extraordinary shit. I just don't think what men do, first of all, because everything L.A.R. mentioned are all the things that I do too. So at the end of the day, I don't understand what a
Okay, check this out. Hold on. Check this out. Hold on. Check this out. Brothers on this panel, how many of you have been single and in bad shape and knew you wouldn't even dare to try to attempt or approach a chick because you like, man, I ain't got my car situation right, I ain't got a decent job, I ain't got... A dude has to have his shit together.
You at least have to have the big three. 2 out of big three.
A dude has to have his shit together just to qualify. How many women are saying, well, I can't be talking to no man. I better make sure I have a job, and I better make sure I have...
You're right about that. One thing I will say is that I definitely agree with Ruby insofar as you're naming things that people do for one another that they care about. But I do want to add this caveat. As it pertains to men, even though the most mundane things that we would do takes a lot out of him to do, because it goes against the grain of being a man, or at least what they taught what a man should be. You know, my husband, with me having a chronic illness, fibromyalgia, I see my husband do a lot of things for me that I bet if it was flies on the wall, they would probably be like, yo, simp ass, you know, the people who don't understand. And the reason being is because it goes against the grain of what they were taught a man is supposed to do, or what they were shown, or what even they may want. So I kind of get what the fellas are saying, and I also get what Ruby is saying. And I think that's probably where the disconnect is, if I may add.
Check this out. Here's the thing. Every time, if you are considered to be what is a good man, every time a birthday rolls around or Valentine's Day rolls around, you gotta figure out, you gotta invent some new shit.
Say that again.
You gotta invent some new shit. So last year, you're going through your mind like, okay, last year I got this. I can't get the same thing this year. Meanwhile, your motherfucking ass probably getting that same motherfucking tie.
The same.
Oh my God, you are shaming me, angry man, right now. You are so shaming me.
I'm not about Valentine's Day. You shaming me. Right? I'm not about Valentine's Day. Not everyone. Not every woman's about Valentine's Day, though, first of all. And second of all, though, every time my man's birthday rolls around, now my husband's birthday rolls around, and before him, previous men's birthdays rolls around, I'm sitting there trying to come up with some new shit, trying to make sure it's fucking special. It's an extraordinary experience for him.
I see the problem is.
Money being damned, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, Ruby.
Hold on. I see the problem is.
You are
Let me address Ruby. Ruby is a dude. See, this shit don't apply to Ruby. Ruby's a dude. I'm telling you right now.
Can I jump in a little?
I see something else going on right here. I was trying to,
So
I was trying to just, I was trying to just make a quick
I
point.
want to speak after Kendra, please.
I just want to make a real quick point.
what? Go ahead, lady. Go ahead, Lady Katz. It's been a while since you jumped in. Go ahead, Lady Katz.
Okay, so Ruby, before you got married to your husband, did he ever take you out onto like any trips? Did he take you anywhere special? Like, since we're talking about, auditioning and stuff, did he do any of that, and did you do the same things for him?
The only trips we went on is though when I every other year I go down to Jamaica and there's a women's retreat my mom's church does, and I do like a beauty and skincare and kind of healthcare session with the ladies. And so I bring him with me to Jamaica when we go. Those are really the only like trips we've been on as far as going places. I don't really like going places. I don't like hotel rooms. I think everything's filthy.
Okay.
I would rather just stay my ass at home.
So he's never done anything special for you, like anything out of the ordinary
To be
that like a
honest
regular
with
guy
you,
would do.
To be honest with you, no. But that being said, I'm gonna say that my mom though tends to take that shine. She likes to do special experiences for me for my birthday. I don't really care for Valentine's Day all that much, although I care a little bit about our anniversaries. But the amount of birthdays and anniversaries I've gotten IOU gifts for is large. Whereas in for me, for example, like I'll make sure, like I'll get all of his fucking friends together, rent the limo, rent the fucking booth downtown so they can live like kings for a night, or I'll make sure he needs a PS3 because his system broke down and I ain't got no money. Well, I'll find a way to get the PS3 and the baseball game and the this and the that. I'll make sure that he's taken care of. For me, what I really like, I don't really like grand gestures. I like little things that are thoughtful and show that fucking something about me. I like little neat things or cool things. So like for our 10-year anniversary, he gave me this thing, and it's a dime that has the year 2008 on it. And they engraved a heart on it, and then they kind of attached it to this other thing that says 10 years and counting, which I thought was really fucking cool. This is like 10 years and it's a 2008 dime. These are the dimes that were made when we got together. I thought that was really cool, right? Like to me, that's like a perfect gift for me.
She's a
right?
dude. Look, I've said this over and over again. Ruby is a dude.
Modern day
And
woman.
Ruby, I feel you with that. That's what I just put in the chat, that on my husband's birthday, Valdez that made me feel bad because I didn't get him a card, and he always gets me a heartfelt card that he's written or something made. But I set it out for his birthday, but I didn't do that because to me that's a little wasteful.
See,
Like,
Yeah,
you
I
know
don't
what I
really give a
mean?
shit about cards.
Can I tell y'all? Hold up. Do you realize we live in a society that this is normal, where a millionaire football player who hits people for a living will have to run to the store and get his wife all the things she needs because she feels bad, and on Monday morning he has to crawl into the kitchen and get himself a drink of water because she don't want to do it.
You know what, Lar? You know what? If I may jump in, Lar, these some trifling ass motherfucking women. These examples.
Exactly. Exactly. But men always telling women to pick better. Y'all need to pick better.
But
okay,
listen,
how about
you know
this? We'll go to the grocery store to pick up your tampons, but if we break our arm, you won't pick up. You won't go get our oil changed in our car.
Hold on a second.
Trifling.
Brother Samuels
Oh
wants
my
to get in. So could somebody rotate out so Brother Samuels can get in?
But
I get out because I got to wake up in the morning.
I appreciate you coming through, Brother L.A.R. I appreciate it, brother.
It's been fun. Let's do it again.
But
Can I say this real quick?
Nice talking to you.
Here's the thing. Okay, so number one, this is why me and Classic Ruby always get to argue, because I'm trying to tell her how women operate, and she's trying to tell me, no, women don't do that. Of course you don't think that, because you think like a dude. Okay, so here's the proof of this. Anybody that wants proof of what I'm saying about men auditioning and women not having to audition, because it continues throughout life. Go to the store, go to Walmart, go to any store on Mother's Day. And then turn around, better yet, go to Walmart the night before Mother's Day. And then go to Walmart the night before Father's Day. and you will see the
Like,
Mother's
difference.
Day is packed. Father's Day is not.
Yeah. And then
if I
get four
jump
Father's
in
Day
Well,
on
gifts.
that,
how about that's a testament to how men and women shop? Y'all last minute and we playing. Could it be that?
Nah. Nah, you know
nah.
why? You know why you know it's not that?
Nah.
Because when you go the night before to the when you go the night before on Mother's Day, the all of the shit is damn near gone. When you go the night before on Father's Day, the shelves is packed. All of them Father's Day shirts is still up there.
I mean,
And they got boxes in the back.
All that
Matter of
shit is
fact, well,
still up there.
Father's Day gift. She don't even get no good gift. She get tube socks and shit.
In fact, they don't even restock the shit every year. They just put it in the back. And when it's time for Father's Day again, they roll that same shit out. They've been
Well,
selling the same Father's Day shit for the past 20 years.
Yep.
I'm gonna be
I'm gonna
honest
jump
with
in
you.
Same
on
shit.
Personally,
Same
Father's
shit.
Day evokes a different emotion in me than my husband's birthday because my husband is an awesome father to my children as well as my bonus daughter. So, like on Father's Day, I got him one time because he's a chef. He could really open his own restaurant, but I got him an apron that was like best dad, and I went and bought a heart and sewed it on there with our names on it. You know, like I try to go out for Father's Day more so than his birthday. He doesn't look at his birthday as big as I do. To me, it's a national fucking holiday.
Well, I'll tell
To
you
Look,
right
him,
now. I'll tell you what's going on, folks. Right
Good
now
brother
in the
Sanders.
mall, they are preparing. I was in the mall just on the way here. They are preparing for Mother's Day right now. When I worked in a restaurant, I worked in food service for almost a decade. You have to make reservations for Mother's Day at Papa or whatever, and you have a 2 to 3 hour wait. Every fathers and mothers get treated differently, men and women get treated differently.
preparation in the store isn't a good example because they started Christmas and Halloween. You know what I'm saying? That's just the society we live in right now. They squeeze every buck. I mean, hell, planograms are done. If you're behind the scenes, like I've been dealing with the category managers and the people who make the decisions about what goes on the shelves at the stores, those planograms and those types of things are done so far in advance because it's a lot that goes into it. I don't think that's a
It
really
goes
good
so far in
example.
advance because they know who's going to be buying what. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about, I was asking in the chat room, I was asking why Ruby's pressing this when you got all these guys pretty much saying the same thing. Guys are taught, even if we don't do it as a matter of course, you have to be able to spoil and pamper your woman just as a matter of course. If happy wife, happy life. That's what men are taught and told. It's been cultured and conditioned to us. But you hear guys sitting here talking about if a man is sick, whatever, you don't even want, women in general don't even want to go roll out to get that man a glass of water. Now, while it may be different for you guys on the panel, I'm going to tell you, we're not just pulling this shit out of our ass. And you say pick better. It's not a cultural thing. Pick better. This is black, white, Hispanic, Asian, and other. Men of any culture will pretty much tell you this is what life is like, the difference between men and women right now. It may be
I'm
more
sure.
exacerbated with
But you
black
know what
folks.
though?
But we could pull different cultures that'll tell us the same thing as well. If men are going to tell us as women to pick better, you should be able to hear the same
Wait,
thing in return because it's a problem on both sides. You guys give us way more credit than we deserve in regards to who and what relationships we get into. It's a two-way thing.
but you know what though? Here's my thing. So my thing is this, and this is why I said maybe it's cultural because I didn't. Yeah, my preferences as far as what say I prefer to have, or be given as gifts and shit like that or whatever. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it would do like Angry Man says. But what I will say is that as far as the way in which you invest in your man and you take care of your man, you take care of your husband, you take care of the man who's providing for who's going to be the provider for your family, that is a provider for you and your kids and whatever, that works hard for y'all. So that is something that I was taught, that was passed down to me, that I watched the women in my family, in my culture, in my, go down to Jamaica, go back home. This is what
Yeah,
I
that was
watched
pretty
women
much
do. So this is why I said it might be cultural. There may be a cultural difference here because that's all I've ever seen women do. And when women don't do that, when women act the way y'all are talking about, that is like, those women are like, they're scandalized. Those
Well,
are
Let's put it to you this way.
Those
Let
women,
me put it to you this way.
the women that were taught like you were taught by Ruby were the greatest generation. That shit stopped with the baby boomers.
Well, my mom's a Generation X. So
okay, well, I'm Generation X, so that's two generations. My grandmother is what you're talking about. I'll go with what Jay Shine said. Today's women,
You know, my grandmother, you talk about women, men had big stuff. Kids on the other side of town. Men have been taught we have to take so many things into consideration for any westernized woman. And we have to make all these preparations and considerations for you, but men in general can't even get a damn meal cooked.
Well, you know, our generation, Generation X, I've said this numerous times, we're paying for the sins of our fathers.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
We're paying for the sins of our fathers. So we don't, and we don't get the benefits that they, like, let's just be honest, we don't get the benefits that they got. You know, they had, you know, our father's generation, you know, they were able to, like, my father was able to buy a brand new freaking car. And it wasn't no $50,000-$60,000 either. You know what I'm saying? So we just have a different type of generation. But there's outliers. Like a lot of the stuff we talking about, I can understand why you ladies, you know, don't really understand it because y'all are outliers. So you don't really engage in that sort of behavior. In fact, I have this picture of Classic Ruby sitting on the couch like a dude, drinking a beer, belching, and talking shit.
I mean, to be honest, to be honest, Valdez, you're right. The unicorns are girls, guys, or guys, girls. Am I saying it that way? You're right. All four of us are.
They call you guys cool chicks. That's what we call
all four of us are.
About a lot of this.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got
Yeah, we hear you.
We've been hearing you.
Okay. What I was gonna say.
Static.
Who got that static going on?
Yeah, it's a little staticky.
You know, like
who is that?
Beating up
somebody's microphone is rubbing up against their shirt.
Yeah. This time it's not me, I swear.
B.G.S.
I'm muted.
B.G.S.
No, I muted myself.
Yeah, somebody's microphone, it sounds like a clip-on and it's rubbing up against their shirt or a jacket or something.
Do you hear it?
Now I'm looking at your bar. Your green bar keep going up every time it's static.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're not muted.
Okay.
Okay, now you.
What was you saying, Kendra?
What I was about to say was I'm kind of back up because I've been trying to jump in for a little bit, but I was saying about auditioning and stuff like that, which is true culturally, socially. Men are socialized to audition because they're the ones that are pursuing the women and things of that nature. A lot of women are lazy when it comes to the start of a relationship and how she's presenting herself in a relationship. Very, very lazy. Because she's so socialized the way you are, that she's supposed to be pursued and that, you know, basically her shit don't stink while you're in pursuit of her. We definitely are outliers because I always try to audition. The only problem with that was that dudes didn't know how to fuck the act when I was doing that shit. They thought I was playing.
Yeah.
They didn't know what the fuck to do. I had this one dude, me and him was real cool because, you know, we was just really cool and I really liked him, stuff like that. So we both like football and shit. So I had thought up in my mind that we could go to Bourbonnais to the Bears practice because it's free. So I didn't have a car, he did. So I had brought it up to him and he was like, yeah, that's cool. So once he said, yeah, that's cool, I said, okay. I went, I got a bunch of shit for like picnic shit. I mean, like I really spent like my little money to go get like the little picnic basket and I got something we could drink on and I got some stuff to make some sandwiches and I got all this shit together. Got my little money. I said, I'm gonna put some gas in this car when we go and all this kind of shit because he the one had to drive. The day came around, I called him that morning. I said, you ready to go later on? He said, go where? I said, to Bourbonnais, like we playing. He said, oh, fuck, you was serious about that shit? I said,
you know what?
I was serious about that.
You know what?
He said, oh, I thought you was playing. He was like, well, I got something to do today. So I ain't going to be able to go with you to Bourbonnais because I thought you was playing.
Because
I said, okay.
See,
And I hung
Kendra,
up. Ain't go
we the
nobody else.
last
traditionally,
generation of women that actually did stuff for our men because it's a lot of girls in my 20s. I thought like that too. I would do little sweet shit for guys, or I should say my early 20s at first, late teens, until I got out of it. But we like the last generation that thought it would be sweet to do something, and
well,
I went through that
Was
same
traditionally,
that before?
embarrassment.
Was that before or after the slinging it stage,
Before,
Lady B?
way before, because then I got cold
that
hearted and
was
dated like a man. And
that
I'll
was
be real
before
honest,
she
it
that
was
was
before.
that was before she transformed into Savage
Yeah.
1000.
Oh my God, so savage.
Slinging
But I mean, it was what it was. I had the attitude that I do what I want to do, and that's it. Like I don't really give a shit. It's only been two men in my life that I really did something significant for. My husband
Two.
being one and somebody else being the
Two.
other. Everybody
That
else, I
was
didn't do back massages, foot
Two.
massages, cooking for you and all that shit. I was catered to. I did
Well,
have the attitude with my ass on my shoulders, like I run the world and you here to do what I need you to do, and it
well,
worked. Shit.
in defense of the men, a man, because of the way our culture is, because the fact men pursue women, and it's not just humans, they do this shit in the animal kingdom, fucking penguins tap dance, you know what I'm saying? All of that shit in order to get the female's attention. In order, like, just to be honest, most guys, if they're traditional guys, they don't know how to accept that. So guys literally, we complain about it, but at the same time, we'll complain about it, but then when it presents itself, we'll be looking crazy in the face because we don't even know how to. You ever see like an old school traditional man, like from the baby boomer generation, who nobody never gave him nothing, and then one day they just decide to have a freaking retirement party for him or something? You ever see how uncomfortable he
Mhm.
looks?
Very
Mhm.
much so.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's
yeah.
not used to anybody giving him anything or doing anything special for him. And see, with guys, we have to actually get used to that. So for the guy who did that with Kendra, I can almost guarantee you that he was being 100% honest, that he didn't think you was for real, because
Oh,
he
I know
probably was
he was
dealing
being
with
for real.
savages. He
He was
probably was
being for
dealing.
real. He wasn't laughing or I guess trying to humiliate me or whatever. I was humiliated anyway to myself. I didn't
Well,
tell
of
him that.
course,
But
of course.
it happened like that all the time. It was another guy I was trying to get next to. I was like, okay, you want to go out? He said, yeah. I said, where you want to go? He said, you want to go to Giordano's. I said, okay, we'll go next week. I got some money together. So okay. And I ain't never had no car. I didn't get a car till I got married. So he had the car. So I was always, I'm gonna put gas in your car and shit, because that's just how I was raised. So we get there. No, he picked me up. I said, okay, stop at the gas station. And so he like, I don't want to do that. What you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna put some gas in your car. We finna go. He's like, well, no, you ain't got to do all that. Well, all right. So we went to Giordano's. So I'm ordering. So he looking at me like, why is this bitch ordering all this shit for me to pay for?
Mm,
So I'm ordering shit. So when the tab come, I lay my money on the table.
mm-hmm.
So he looked at me like, what are you doing? I said, I'm paying for the date. I asked you out. You didn't ask me out, I asked you.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, no, that's not how that go. You know what I'm saying? A man's supposed to do. I said, if you take my money off this table, don't call me no more. And I'll catch the bus home.
Wow.
Because I asked you out. You didn't ask me out.
Well, you
Well,
did it for
And
the
he
women's
thought I
club.
was playing. He thought I was playing. And he took my money off that table and he paid for that date. And I took the
Well, you
bus
know
home.
what? Let me do a little quick story. I'm gonna give you that same, well, not that scenario, but the other scenario from my standpoint. When I was in when I lived in Atlanta, I had just turned 18, and at the time, I didn't have a car. I had a little bullshit job. I was doing some other little shit I had no business doing, but I didn't really have no money like that, right? So I had just came to Atlanta, and so at the time I was working at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? And this chick came through the drive-through, real pretty chick, And one of her homegirls worked in there with me, and I mentioned something about she was pretty or whatever. And so the girl ended up coming back and giving me her number. So we started dating and shit. And one day, you know, I'm riding with her because I don't got no car. She got a nice ass fucking car and shit. Obviously come from a family that got money. She got a good job, all of that shit. So she was planning a trip to Six Flags. She was trying to plan a trip for me and her to go to Six Flags. And the week that she was going to do that, I knew I didn't have no motherfucking money to go. And just out of sheer embarrassment, I didn't want to tell her that I didn't have the money to go, and I didn't want her to foot the bill for me to go. So what ended up happening is I made up a bunch of bullshit excuses not to fucking go.
Yep.
And
all the time.
Yeah, you know, and that's, you know, that's not the only time I've ever done that. Because when you start getting into the position of the male ego, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother animal.
I dealt with that once, Valdez. I dated a dude, and when I lived in Boston, and coincidentally, he was also an Aries, so he was honest about it. And he was the type of guy who walked you to your door, opened up your car door, and paid for all dates. One time, I tried to pay for a meal, and he damn near cussed me out at the table, and he broke it down for me like, my father raised me this way, and this is how I operate. If you want to do something and I can't afford to do it, we're not doing it. Because I don't take money from a woman. And he told me that shit straight up and down.
Well, and you know what though? Like, as far as like, again, anyone I've dated has felt the same way, and they feel like she could pay anything for them, and that's why I think it is like a lot of I gotta cook for you, I gotta do something for you, I gotta I save it up, and I can't wait for your birthday, I can't wait to Christmas, I can't wait till times that I can shower you with things because I know that I can't bring you out to dinner and pay for that date because you're gonna feel emasculated. I know I can't do these certain things because certain men, especially the men that I end up dating, they're not the ones who are okay with that. They're not the ones that are even okay with going Dutch. Like, if they can't afford to take you out, they don't want to do it. And, they may not say it as plainly. They'll just make up excuses like, this weekend, I don't know. I think I have a cold. How about next weekend? You're like, oh, next payday, I got it, right?
Nah, he told me straight up.
Now, similar to me, I got out of that phase. By the time I turned 19, I went full in Pookie mode. I didn't give a fuck. Like, if you was footing the bill, I didn't care.
Well, in this line, I'm actually starting to teach charm school for modern day young men and young women, because the stuff you're talking about, Valdez, I 100% agree. And what you're saying is you moved to a city and she was more accomplished.
Yeah.
The women I'm going to teach are going to know that if you got more money, you need to already understand that not to put Valdez in that position to make him feel less than. Jay Sean, was it you that said? Who was it that said if the man basically pays and we only do what I can pay for? Who said that? Was it Kendra? I don't remember.
I think, yeah.
Oh, me. You talking about me and my guy? Yeah, me. He didn't say those words, but essentially that's what he meant.
And as men, as CIA men, look, if you talk about picking better, the first thing starts off with all men have to have that standard. If I'm making $30,000 a year, we're gonna live a lifestyle and do $30,000 a year shit. I don't care if you're making $200. And if you can't fuck with that, then you need to go find somebody else. Then we talking about let's go to Jamaica and Paris and all this other kind of shit. We're gonna go ahead Netflix and chill and do what the hell I can, because in my
he sure said it.
Yeah,
he was straight up with it too, and I respected that too. It made me feel actually pretty good, to be quite honest with you, that I had a man that cared.
Yeah, because because at the end of the day, if you're walking into my efficiency apartment, sitting on my IKEA furniture, looking at my 19-inch TV, and I am still pouring the Kool-Aid that I bought the sugar for, God damn it, I got something to stand on. If I'm coming into your 5-6 bedroom house, 2-car garage, eating shrimp and filet, you want to have sex, I ain't feeling quite right unless I'm in that full-on savage mode, and it ain't gonna work.
But,
Well,
but
see,
you know what?
Kev, I'm
Finish
glad
you
I'm
after
glad
him,
you I'm
okay?
glad you brought that up because I'm a full disclosure. I'm gonna give you some honesty about when you're a young man and you're at that age. Um, Here I was in this situation, and I never forget it. The event was so traumatic and so fucked up that I can remember every detail of the event. We went to like she sprung it up on me. We were literally this is how messed up it was. We were literally in her car going through the drive-through ATM at Bank of America because she was getting money out of the freaking bank to go pay her rent. And here I am, I'm staying in the crib, which is basically the equivalent of a trap house, not really having any money like that. And she's saying, next week we're gonna go to Six Flags. You're gonna be ready to go, ain't you? And shit. And here's the thing. When you're a young man at that age, every young man, once you're told so much that by the time you hit 18, you're grown. You think that at that age you're supposed to have it all figured out.
Yep.
Nope.
And because of the fact that you think you're supposed to have it all figured out, when you have a situation like that happen, it makes you feel like a fucking failure.
Yep.
It makes you feel like
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Valdez,
Push you into
this
bad
is this is
decisions too.
this is what I notice. When I talk to men and women about the differences, men are held to a fucking higher standard than the women, and a lot of women don't understand that because they don't have to go pursue women.
now what
Remember,
Kevin what Kevin just said, what did you just say right after I said that?
And
You
it'll
said
push you into making bad
push you.
decisions.
You know what I started doing right after that? Right after that shit happened?
Trapping.
I started trapping 100 miles a motherfucking
Yeah, of
hour.
course you did. Cause your code was she hacked your code and you ended up playing the game in backwards.
Yep.
Versus because your moral code said this shit ain't right because my grandmama and my daddy raised me. I gotta be a man about my shit. But because you were the twist and your pockets were sitting on empty, you started hustling backwards, doing shit the wrong way in order to have a right outcome. And it never worked that way for either person.
You know what the thing is though, and this is, I mean, it's one thing to take note of, at least with a good woman, for example, is that she needs to be mindful and careful and cognizant of the male ego at all times
Damn right.
because right and this is the thing, it's like it's something that again I don't think that men would really be able to truly consider and acknowledge that it's an actual effort because you would have to, if you mean no harm by what you do, like for example, if I just, well, I got the money, let's do it then. And I'm not trying to sit there and insult you and be like, well, you ain't got no money, you ain't never gonna have money or whatever. So I have to naturally deal with us in our relationship as though my money is never good here, even though, maybe we would be able to just maybe do a little bit more together if, my money was sometimes good. So I think at the end of the
That hurt my
day,
feelings just
being
to
a
hear
Ruby,
you
good
say it.
but
woman.
Ruby, that's kind of weird because from a male standpoint, remember, you're a fucking outlier. This is not 90% of the women we run into.
But the thing is, though, is that as much as we could say that, right, there's one thing that basically all the men on here have said, which is that, this is something that men do. Men pay for things. When women turn around and say, no, I can pay for it, I'll pay for it, I'll bring you, it's like, no, that's emasculating.
Let me
So
put it to you
however
this
she
way.
approaches, hold on, so however she approaches the fact that she ain't paying for shit, it comes down to is he doesn't want her to be paying for shit anyway. So then how do you win that one?
Even if you do, and let's say we let you pay it,
I'll answer that.
there's women who
Don't
don't.
answer that.
I said no. I will.
Oh, I thought you said don't answer that.
Oh, you want to answer it,
No,
Kevin?
go ahead. I'll just follow up on what you got. I'll build on what you got.
I'm gonna just say this: so many women out there, not all, but too damn many, will make you feel like shit. They will like. Remember when I said men remember shit, women hold grudges. I wish I could find outliers like you, but unfortunately, that's why they call you girls unicorns. Where guess what? Oh, I had to pay for this, and oh, I had to pay for that. Oh, they'll smile right then and there, but guess what? They'll turn the happy moments into fucking devastating comments.
Oh, Charles, that was the
You
other.
went.
That
Oh,
was
go
the
ahead.
other part of it. That was the other part of it. This chick, this was not okay. Let me give some context here. This was not Okay, this is 1996, Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh Jesus!
The majority of the women out there, had at least one kid. This was a chick who did not have no kids, was bad, put you in the mind of Aaliyah, except with a big booty, banging body, making good money. And I literally heard her clown niggas about being bum ass niggas prior to this situation.
And that's stuck in your mind forever.
That shit stuck right in my brain. Like,
yes, it did.
I'm already faking the funk. You feel what I'm saying? I'm already pretending like, I'm good, knowing I'm not good, because I just started that freaking job and I just got there. So I'm just learning the lay of the land. You know what I'm saying? All of that good shit. So telling you right now, it's real for young brothers.
Women have to be extremely careful how they speak about other men in the presence of men they may like. Because
I'm gonna tell you what men they may like. Oh, okay.
Hold on. Yeah, because let me just put it this way: you got to be careful how you speak of men in other men's presence. Let me just be that simple, because you never know where it's gonna go. There was a woman today in my life that just this weekend realized we could have had a relationship had she not done the exact same thing Brother Valdez is speaking of. She makes $1.5 million a year. She's a corporate attorney.
Wow. Okay.
The long and short of it is, she made a comment about, I can't get with a man unless he has an 800 credit score. This woman has a full-time babysitter for her pre-made kid. And the long and short of it is, she ended up cutting off all potential relationships with me because I was building my business at the time. I didn't want to go into that situation to ever have to answer that potential question. Was that her fault?
What's her name?
Attorney Sherry. I'll just put it this way. Let me answer.
I'm a single dad, nigga.
That's the underlay for the overlay.
I took a woman's position. Ain't nothing going on with the rent. What you do for a living?
Man, she had enough miles for me to fly. She told me you can just fly around on my miles. We can go to Dubai. She flies 190,000 miles a year. My deal would have been just to be Mr. Mom.
I'm emailing you right now, man. I'm emailing you right now.
Don't think I wasn't. It sounded good for half a second, but again, we couldn't live on that. That would have been a problem.
It's gonna be a problem.
Right. Ruby, let me answer your question. You said, how can a woman win in that no-win situation? You win like the women of old did, and you won through. We talked about lying at the beginning. You have to win by diversion. I'm sorry, but saying that, hey, we could do better if my money could be used here. He's making your money, putting your money on the table is never going to work. Here's what my female clients who want their men to get style makeovers and up their image, you know how to get them in there? Honey, guess what? I won this thing at work and it's a free makeover. And this guy, they don't go out and say, I bought this for you, go get your shit together.
So my point wasn't the no win, was the fact that, so if you don't want to be emasculating him or whatever, then you don't pay for things, you don't offer to pay for things, you don't say you can pay for things instead or whatever. But at the same time, if you never offer to pay for anything, then you're basically like a heartless bitch who doesn't care about him and is just expecting him to pay for everything. And that's what I'm saying. Well, how can you win? Because it's two sides of the exact same coin, and there isn't a movement you can make one way or the other. If you make a move one way, well, then you're terrible for this reason. If you make a move the other way, then you're terrible for that reason.
Kendra talked about at the beginning. Kendra did something and old boy thought she was playing. If you do what Kendra did, even if he has had bad experiences, that will stick in the dude's mind and say, you know what? She wasn't playing. She's on a different level. Now, he still may not want her to ever do that again, but she set herself out for being different. Yeah. I get it. It's a twist, but male ego is so fragile.
You still get points, though.
Yeah, you get points.
You still get points. The thing is, he might not want you to do it again. He might say something about it, but you still get points because she's down for me because she did this one time. Even though I don't want her to pay, she will pay. So you still get points. You still get credit for it.
But I think that's a lot of credit.
They just want to, but Ruby, They just want to know that you will. They don't
Yes, you will.
necessarily want you to
Right.
do it. They just want to know that it's possible.
It's
But I
You
possible.
guess my
could. You
point is
want
that
it
at the
to.
end of the day, it's going back to the beginning where it's like, well, women have 7 different personalities. Men have just one. They're so simple. Well, it's all going back to that original point where men are not as simple as men seem to think they are, because there are a lot of other factors again, and we are auditioning if you are trying to prove that you are that good woman who's down for him, who will be supportive, who's on his team, who's this, who's that, who's a whole bunch of things. There's a whole bunch of things you have to keep track of, learn about him,
Uh-huh.
and deal with on a constant basis.
Well,
Let
you
Like
me
know
tell you
that.
how fragile
that.
the male ego is. This is going to be a
Preach.
little hood tale a little bit.
Mm,
I was dealing with this dude, and he wanted to cop some marijuana.
mm.
And
Allegedly. Allegedly.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You
So
mean the wacky
allegedly, and
tobacco?
it was him and a couple people going in on it, and he didn't have the money, and he needed
Mm.
$2,500.
Okay.
Allegedly, I gave it to him. Okay,
Okay.
I gave it to him,
Uh-huh.
and
This,
and with interest, and he paid me my money back with interest. He gave me my money back with interest, but our relationship went downhill from there.
Really? Why?
Yes, it did. I think that one, he was shocked that I gave it to him, but most importantly, he was shocked that I had it
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
to give. And me doing it, even though it helped him, it hurt his ego. I know that's what it was. Now, mind you, I'm also
no,
doing, he was a Leo too. So let's throw that in there. He's a Leo. I'm an
Mm-hmm.
Aries, and it affected him to where our relationship went downhill. He just felt like from near on out, I felt that he thought I was better than him. Or I
Mm.
thought I was better than him.
Mm. Okay.
He had resentment against the fact that I helped his ass out.
He didn't have enough
You know,
in him, huh?
And that's the
nah,
kind of guy
Hmm.
talking
I'll
about
be trying to
talking
help
about what
myself.
men
Go ahead.
talking about what men like is kind of going back to something that Kevin Samuel said. Okay, little background. My husband was ill to the point where he was on disability. So you can imagine what the standard of disability is. It's a fixed income every month, not
Mm-hmm.
very much. To the point where I ended up having to work.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big time job, just customer service. So, it's minimum wage, a little bit better than minimum wage. And I said, man, I got beside myself one day
Mm-hmm.
and I said, we was talking about moving out of the place we was in because it was so bad and it was drugs all around and blah, blah, blah. He was like, I want you to be safe. I want you to be able to go in and out without me having to threaten to kick somebody's ass every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, we could move to such and such a place and the renter only be $200. And I can put on the 200. He said, no, you won't. He stopped me dead in my tracks. He said, no, the fuck you won't. Who you talking to? I said, what you talking about? Now, mind you, when I'm saying this, I don't have any malice. I'm coming at it from the standpoint of I'm supporting. We're in this together. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we together.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, we will never move somewhere I can't pay the full rent by myself. Ever.
mm-hmm,
We will never do it. So you can get it out
Wow.
of your head. Get it
mm-hmm.
out
Wow,
of your head.
wow.
He said,
Let me
whatever
let
else
me
you want to buy whatever you want to buy. He was like, because I'll never ask you for your money for the bills. You buy what you want to buy.
now
But
let
we will
me
not be moving somewhere where I cannot pay the full rent. And
Mm-hmm.
and this is after so long we've been together. He knew I wasn't trying to one up him. He
Mm-mm.
knew I wasn't trying to
Exactly.
undercut him. You know
It
what I'm
wasn't
saying?
no
about
He
it
knew
wasn't,
I
it
wasn't
wasn't
trying
about
to
you.
do that.
no. You
But
know what
he
happened?
was a man and he was like, no, I'm holding my own nuts right here. You're
Nah,
not gonna put
you
nothing on no rent.
you know what happened, Kendra? You said that shit and he had a flashback. I know what happened. I guarantee you I know what happened. You said that shit and he had a flashback. Because 9 times out of 10, I don't know his history. I don't know who he was with before you. But he might have tried some 50-50 shit before and
Oh
realized,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah, that
hell
shit
Yeah.
don't
no,
Oh
work.
bro.
hell yeah.
We
Oh yeah.
know.
Don't
Don't
work.
work.
Oh yeah.
And so
Or
this is
worse.
one reason kind of why I tell dudes that if you want a certain level of respect in your house, you the one have to foot the necessary bills, not all this bullshit bills, but necessary bills that run the household. Because if
Mm-hmm.
she have to do it, your nuts you'll be a gelded stallion. Okay, you be gelded because she gonna take your nuts and set them in a jar and put them on the mantle. So even if she doesn't mean to.
that's what she's
a
going to do.
very
She's not going to be able to help herself
a very
with that
You
situation.
become a
a,
child instead of a man.
a very
Yeah.
a very
Exactly.
small jar.
A little teeny tiny bitty, you know, and
Why not
so
just go for
she's
why not
going to
just go for full castration? That's
full,
No,
full castrate, however you want
you
to
gotta,
do.
you gotta perform. So
Yeah, you
no,
still got to perform,
she
sister.
still,
You
Right,
you
she
right,
can't
gotta
be
right.
get
fully
back to you.
castrated.
no, we're talking about
So,
moral. You know, you screw it back on when she needs it,
We
and
should
then she
need,
takes it off when she doesn't.
yeah. Oh hell yeah.
That's jacked up.
See,
You know,
that's the part. That's the
this
part that
is
I was
why.
talking about. That's the part that I was talking about. Like it's so much on a when it comes to being a man. It's a very difficult balance. Like a woman wants to. A lot of women talk about support, and I'm pretty sure there's women who are supportive. Have I seen them?
You're Mongo, man. You don't get it, okay?
When women talk about I support my man, I got one word from my Baltimorean heart. Shit.
But you know,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
Let
care.
me just say this real quick, Quinja. The reason why I say that is because a lot of women will go and try to say, I support him, I do this. No. Buying him a goddamn t shirt ain't support.
no, it's not.
I had to talk to my damn niece who'll be like 29, 30 this year. And this motherfucker, because she gets a little position at a funky ass job, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to sit her down and take her by her damn ear. I don't care how fucking old she is. I diaper that motherfucker. So this is the part that pisses me off. Her man who took her first son in and had two more kids by her, she wants to leave him because he lost his job and he's getting depressed
Oh
and
yeah.
feeling down.
Uh-huh.
So, motherfucker, this man paid for your shit, paid for your classes, got you to where the fuck you were, and
Mm-hmm.
when he got you to the point where you were, and now that he lost his job, oh, you don't have any use for him. So
Mm-hmm.
many men have the ugly
that's
realization.
sad.
So many men
It
have
is.
to go through the ugly realization of this: that a lot of women don't love you for who you are; they love you for what you are.
Hmm.
Exactly.
So when women talk about, well, I did all this, I did all that. Did you do it for him, or did you do it to, to carry on the purpose of what he's supposed to do for you? And
Mm-hmm.
that's the crazy part.
That's a
See,
good
this is
question.
this is
And
what you're
that's why they
saying
hate that's
is
why they
true.
hate Pookie.
And see, this is what you said is very true. A lot of women don't understand the definition of support, and they also don't understand needs or desires from his woman that he's in an actual relationship with. Because these are the same women that don't understand whether or not they're in a relationship. They don't even know how to define that. They think if a dude fuck them, that mean that's her man. And this is why if you screw a bitch two times, she thinks she can go through your Facebook and argue with you about some shit that you put on Facebook. Because now she thinks you're in a relationship without understanding, bitch, I just fucked you two times. That's not a relationship. You don't have a right to ask me no questions. So, they don't understand what support looks like. Me and my husband, he didn't work for 90% of our marriage. I married him. He was a working, healthy dude. Like 3 years into the relationship, he got sick and he did not work a day beyond that. And I did have a couple of females like, why are you staying with him? You don't even got kids by this dude.
Damn.
Ain't that a
So you
bitch?
really don't have a reason.
Damn.
You really don't have a reason to
Mm-hmm.
stay with him.
He's
Hold
this
up, did
real.
Ruby? Did you
This
hear
is
that,
real.
Ruby?
No, this is
Ruby, did you
real.
hear
Go
that?
ahead,
Some
keep
real
going,
shit.
Kendra. This is
I heard
real.
that.
This is real.
And you really don't have a reason to stay with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I understood what type of quality of man he was.
Mm-hmm.
He had helped me take in children that he did not, he could have said no to that and he would have been in his rights. And he did not. He sacrificed for some things that I was concerned about. And this is why he behaved the way that he did
in our marriage. If, like Ming said way early in the conversation, if it was some flies on the wall watching some of the stuff he did, like, look, this simp ass nigga. My husband was not a simp. However, I showed real support, not lips. I didn't pay lip service to this shit. I was the motherfucker he could call when he couldn't call nobody else. And I would come, bells ringing. It didn't matter what he needed. It didn't matter. I was there to give him the shots and to do the dialysis for him and go pick him up when could nobody pick him up. And the days he was down, I had to talk to him. The days he was depressed, I had to perk him up. The times he just was cry on my shoulder because he couldn't cry in front of nobody else. I didn't judge him. That's the type of 10 toes, 10 fingers, all the way down to the ground that I was. So that's why he acted the way he acted with me when he wanted to spare my feelings and he didn't want to say certain shit, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And people were like, well, why you acting like you act like you scared of her, you know, or whatever. And he would just blow him off like, nigga, you don't know what kind of motherfucking woman I got. You wish you had my woman. With them horror stories you be telling me about with them bitches you dealing with.
this is why
so
I often,
that's actual support.
This is why I often make this public service announcement for you
Stop
brothers
it.
in the Chicago area. You might want to be trying to holler at Lady Kendra because that's the kind of lady you might want in your life, brothers. You know, for you brothers out there in the Chicago area. Just
it's a real one. It's got
public
a real
service, public service announcement for you brothers.
And she's nice for nunchucks.
You know?
Just don't sit down at the Xbox and try to beat her. You're gonna get your feelings hurt.
How many guys listened to what she just said and thought, man, she's full of shit. That ain't gonna happen.
I believe her.
See, here's the thing.
Because they don't believe that that's possible.
The funny thing is, you know, it's not funny, but the funny thing was while she was describing this shit, Kendall was like, God damn.
Right. Yeah, especially with the shit.
That's why I call her the Dr. Reverend Archbishop Kendra Davis, man.
Yeah.
DJ, you know, that's DJ Hot Fish, you know, fish grease right there.
But that's the stuff that women and men don't think about when they're talking about the wedding. I've said this before about an acquaintance I have who is divorced and remarried and still paying on the loan from the first wedding.
Ain't that some shit?
It is some shit. It's some bullshit.
When I was doing singles ministry and speaking over this stuff, one of the first questions I would ask, you're beautiful now, but what would happen if you were in that car wreck, paralyzed from the neck down? Would you still want to be with this fine woman or this sexy man? That question caused more breakups. And I've said it before, I asked for a good goddamn reason to facilitate the damn breakup. If you call yourself in a serious relationship, gonna get married, or if you ain't willing to deal with the crust of a motherfucker, you ain't willing to be with him. And like Kendra said, too many women think because ladies, in order to have a relationship, you got to have a conversation. No conversation, no relationship. Stop implying everything. Stop talking about you want the best marriage. Talk about your best day and how about the worst day, and can you deal with it with that person? And that was a lot of this shit. People just hooking up because the feel good part of somebody.
You're absolutely right. You know, when me and my husband got married, and he'll tell you, I wasn't chasing a marriage or a wedding. That wasn't a big deal for me. I was always about, because I believe that a marriage genuinely is between you and that person and the commitment you make before your God. Or whoever you deem is important enough to honor that commitment. The other stuff is about the business of the matter, you know? So at that time, I was like 9 months pregnant. I got married November 8th. I had my son November 18th. But at first it was going to just be in our home with his frat brother, a close family friend, is also a minister, our pastor. So he officiated the wedding. And we ended up having it at Maggiano's. If you're familiar, it's an upscale Italian restaurant, my favorite, and rented a ballroom and 89 guests of the 90 people I invited within 2 months, and they paid for their plate. And we probably spent $1,000 out of our pocket when you count how much money was given to us the day of the wedding. For my wedding. And it was the most beautiful thing that people still talk about because of how heartfelt it was and how it was about the love of the people in that room that really knew us, that supported us through our relationship and independently of one another. nothing has ever topped it. But that was what it was about. I preferred that our money went into things that had value, i.e., our home, our credit, the diamonds that's on my hand, because that was important. But the truth of the matter is, I got married with just my wedding band. He didn't even give me my engagement ring until my birthday in 2014. I got married in 2013. On my birthday, he surprised me with my actual engagement ring because I'm not that type of person. I'm not about that materialistic shit. But I speak as a woman who evolved into a unicorn. I did not start out as one.
Well, that's what these kind of programs make it difficult for. I've listened intently in this Pookie Ray Ray educated lane classic lane
You're
debate.
very low, Kevin.
I
Yeah,
said
we
I've
can
listened
barely
with.
hear you.
I'm sorry. I've listened with. And this is what makes it difficult for so many men on that tipping point. I've listened really intently to that whole educated lane Pookie Ray Ray debate and the whole I can just pick my ball up and go home because of the community and the problem. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
that presumes that everything happens in a vacuum. People evolve,
Mm-hmm.
and life is
Exactly.
long.
Yeah.
Everybody on YouTube, with the exception of a few, even even Quad B,
Yeah.
he got 20 more years left. What the fuck happens after tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just assume that everybody gonna stay where they are because you're not. And if you think you want to get from here to there by yourself,
No, it's not gonna happen.
you no. If you do that, they're gonna find you dead in your apartment by yourself, and that is a hell of a sad way to live. Because if you've ever gone to a nursing home or anything like that and saw a true, straight up bachelor, it's one of the saddest, loneliest things. Because it seemed great while he still had the body to pull it off, but when he didn't, it was a sad thing. And now I can speak for that side of it. And talk about women being Spencers. Women are more social. They'll at least find their sewing circle or groups to hang out with. So when you hear women talk about like Kendra and Ming and everybody else, that talks about the evolution of where we can get to when your North Star is still the right thing. Is that you, B.G.S.?
Charles.
That was Charles.
Okay, cool.
Well, what I think it is many times with with brothers who have a hard time accepting, when someone like Lady Kendra comes along or someone like Lady Ming comes along and they got a few dollars and they like, look here, I'm gonna take you out, I'm gonna take you to dinner, we gonna go to the movies, we gonna do this, we do that. I think a lot of brothers have encountered a lot of FBAs, female bullshit artists. So yeah, they female bullshit artists. So, you encounter enough of those, and we as men, we have a tendency to kind of paint a lot of women with the same brush. When our feelers go up, we like, she's just another FBA. So that has a lot to do with it too. Maybe not in all cases, but if you run into enough FBAs and then you got another woman coming up and she's saying the same kind of shit that the last 20 FBAs said, you're like kind of reluctant. You're like, oh, this just another one. This just number 21. So that kind of plays into it too, to a degree. I know that's been my
I
experience.
think to a large degree, because that's exactly what happened to me even coming to the manosphere. I still think there's a lot of people who are sitting there and waiting for the lie to reveal itself,
Yeah.
my real colors to come out. Because they've been calling me a liar from day one.
Yep.
Yeah, Ruby, from day one, I knew that you were telling the truth because nobody could make that shit up.
Yes, Ruby. We all know that we all love you. We love our Ruby's classic, and you're still a motherfucker in my eyes, and I love you for that.
Thank you. But no, you know what? I think people believe like they certain, me telling my story, sure. But when just aspects about me, say the way I say, because I can't prove the way I live my life or the way I treat my husband or the past, 20 years of my life. And I think what people expect. Oh, that's really loud.
Who's chewing on their mic cord? Who is chewing
I
on
think
their
that's
mic
how it
cord?
was B.G.S. But I think that at the end of the day, what people are they expect that one day, what's gonna happen is you guys you haven't hit the right chord, and you're gonna hit the chord. I'm gonna be like, well, who the fuck you think you are? and the stacking and they're just expecting it. They're waiting for that moment in time where I show myself, right? And then I really show my ass and I start saying, I ain't submitting no black man. I don't give a shit about no black man. Like that's what they're expecting, right?
You
And
know
like
what? Yeah.
That's like
What
what's the
the
old girl's name?
absolutely, I think that's what a big source of the contention is, that
Yeah.
they felt that women like us were also supposed to be docile. And because it's not the case, then it's like you got a problem. But it's either or. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Nothing is perfect. What is it that you want? Do you want a yes woman, or are you iron trying to be sharpened by more iron?
right.
Well, like, what are
And
we
you know what?
talking about here?
You know what,
Exactly.
man? Here's the thing: a lot of people, and I'm gonna just say I love my black men, but some of y'all don't know what support look like either. A lot of these women don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and some of y'all
Damn
don't
right.
either. Because
Yep.
see, the situation is if you the captain, I'm the co-captain, right?
Hmm.
So that means I gotta know this shit too. Just like two pilots flying a plane.
Yep.
You got the pilot and you got the co-pilot. Now, why does he
Mhm.
need a co-pilot? Because he need a second motherfucker watching the controls too. In case he
Yeah.
missed some shit, the co-pilot gotta watch it. Now, what does the co-pilot have to do? They have to know how to fly the fucking plane. The co-pilot cannot sit there dumb as fuck and not saying nothing,
Nope.
because now you're not helping me. You just another motherfucker in this cockpit that I gotta watch. And I almost got to
Exactly.
smack your hand every 10 minutes because you stupid as hell. You liable to hit that goddamn lever and we all go down. You stupid motherfucker. So
Always
did
reaching
you
for them
read the
buttons. Stop
flight manual or not?
flying.
So if you the co-pilot, that means you got to know what the fuck is going on in the plane too. So if I'm the co-pilot, I can't always be silent and whimpering up under you. Yes, my love. Yes, sir. You know, whatever. This, that, and the third. I gotta perk it up some. Like, hey. You think that's a good course of action? I mean, I'm just saying, because I'm seeing it like this. I'm your balance, because he's going to look at it the way a man looks at things. I'm the woman. I'm bringing the balancing energy and the balancing thought, and I'm looking at it through another lens now, and I'm sharing with him that. Okay, this is how I'm seeing the situation. Now you put that information with your information, and I step back and let you come up with the plan, and I support the plan you come up with. But that means I've contributed to this relationship. So you either want a bitch to sit back and be kept and
There you
shut
go.
the fuck up and be somebody you come fuck on every night and she don't say shit, a dumb bitch that you're not gonna respect, because you're not gonna respect her because she's a stupid bitch. Okay, you can't even
Damn.
have a regular conversation with her about nothing because she's stupid. You gonna go cheat on her with a bitch that you really like that talk shit to you. You know what I'm saying? And all that type of shit. So you really want a woman that actually knows what's going on. She's not imposing herself over you. She's not being overbearing. She's not trying to take your position. She's actually trying to help you in your position so that both of you can move forward in a positive way. But see, I got to know what's going on before I can help you. I got to read the manual too.
Exactly.
That's why this whole purpose of this modern charm school and etiquette school for both men and women. You know, one of the things I've noticed is I plan on taking away the how do you know and how do you pick and how do you know what you need to become. I want to take away all the damn excuses. Put the manual
You know,
out there
Kevin, I got a
2 times.
question for you. I don't mean to cut you off, but I do have a question about this girls' charm school.
Yeah.
From what I've gathered about you by watching you in these YouTube streets and having the pleasure of being on a couple panels with you, I noticed that you kind of want a woman to be seen and not heard. Is that what you intend to teach during this charm school?
No, it's not seen and not heard. Kendra just described it perfectly. You have to be the co.
Okay.
There's nowhere that a woman needs to be. I don't want a Stepford wife, but I do want order. You know, if you're a religious person, the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, I think there's a head, there's a tail. I think that man needs to set the course, woman needs to understand the course. But that does not mean you're just sitting over there with just a few privileges above a child. But at the end of the day, if everything's going to be invested in the man, and he has to make the final decision because he's going to get the final, because he's going to be held accountable. Everything need to vest him with that responsibility. But but he also has to stand up and be able to take those slings and arrows and be able to take no excuses either.
Mm-hmm.
So,
in other words, you got to be his representative, and that's the
right.
biggest thing
Mm-hmm.
because when you being elevated to wife, now that wife represents you.
Think about your old school
Yeah.
sorors.
Mm-hmm.
You make A, correct?
Correct, Ski Wee.
Okay, so what I and what I always was struck, there's a difference between, no offense to anybody who hears this in a rebroadcast, maybe it's just my area, but the difference really between the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha and Delta Sigma Theta is they were both women, but they were able to handle business and still be ladies.
Mm-hmm.
They were no less accomplished. They were definitely they weren't shrinking ivies. They had
Mm-mm.
opinions, but they still were feminine, beautiful, beneficial, and inspirational. They
It's
understood
part
their
of our
place.
culture. It's part of our Alpha
Well,
Kappa Alpha culture.
so I'm take like Bruce Lee. I'm trying to do Bruce Lee Jeet Kune Do this shit. I'm trying to take the
Mm-hmm.
best pieces from everything. And it's basically say, you know what? Because you did not necessarily get it, maybe if you're between the ages of 16 and 25 or 30, I'm still trying to work out the age range. Here's some stuff that you can work on as a young lady or as a young man. And then start giving at least a manual or some direction, something to work towards. It ain't going to be perfect, but at least be something. Because sending people to finishing school, charm school, and all that other kind of stuff may seem to be impractical. I just want the information to be out there, to be evergreen. So maybe if Katz would have ran across this 5 years ago and not hooked up with the manosphere of B.G.S, she still could have had something to look for, so she wouldn't have been so mousy.
Mm. Well, I noticed something that it's like during the women's hangouts and things like that in the comment section, you tend to bristle whenever there's some sort of conflict between the men and the women. And I did want to ask you, like, why is that? I know that you've been through some things with your ex-wife and the coven you was raised by, but it appears as if you don't like heated confrontation.
No,
Is
I
that
don't.
true?
I don't mind it.
We are now entering the grilling of Brother Kevin Samuels.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind heated confrontation at all. What I don't like is disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one thing that you can always have a different point of view, but respect has to. If you want to be treated like a lady, you need to treat a man like a man, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So
You do understand disrespect can be subjective. I know there's clear-cut disrespect, but sometimes it can be subjective. And I'm
well,
wondering, is your subjectivity a little colored by some of the things you've went through? Some people can handle screaming at the top of the lungs where others can't even handle the slight hit of a raised voice. I'm just wondering.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, it's all relative. But a
Mm-hmm.
raised voice, I say don't talk to a man any way different than you would talk to somebody who's going to be cutting your check.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't go talk to the man who has the dominion over your paycheck different than you talk to a man on the panel. The only difference is one man has the actual control over you. The other man, you just not obliged to respect his manhood any way, shape, or form.
And it's also dependent on the guy because there are some guys that want their woman to scream at him, otherwise he doesn't feel like she's loved, that he loves her. So it depends on the guy. But Kevin is actually coaching for a more of an upscale guy that can't have that around him. So it's a different. So it's a different thing.
The funny thing is, I saw women, and take the other side of it. I also grew up with women who did not know her name was Terry. The way she knew her men loved her is because he beat her ass. You know, that's unhealthy. And at the end of the day, I look at a relationship as if there's respect on both sides, love can grow. But I would not want to be, nor would I want another man to be seen with his woman having a heated, vocally raised conversation, and somebody look up and be like, I would hate if my woman talked to me like that.
Well, I mean, but we've all looked around and said something, something like that, looked at somebody else's situation with our limited point of view and said, I wouldn't want to be in that situation, not knowing why they're in that situation or anything else. That happens even to the best of us. I'm asking because, my brother was very honest with me. He has 4 children
Mhm.
by 3 different women, and he takes care of them all. He has his children every weekend. He has amicable relationships with everybody. But one thing he can't handle is any sources of conflict because of the conflict we were raised with in our home. I get it, and I know why he dumped their ass. Any sign of an argument or raising of a voice or anything, even if it's not that big of a damn deal to him, it is because of what he went through as a child and was raised around and don't want to deal with as an adult. And I kind of get those vibes from you a little bit just off of some of the statements you make in the comment section when conflict is going on, that me personally, I don't see anything wrong with, or a lot of people around who's watching, but you got triggered by it, it appeared.
Well, you also have to
So
look
that's why
comment.
I'm just trying to delve a little deep into your psyche to see why.
Well, let's also take into consideration the comment section has no real context. I can say
Mm-hmm.
I can say things multiple different ways, and depending on how you perceive it, I can say
Mm-hmm.
"come here," and you can take that as a command or a flirt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll tell you this: there's no way I would be sitting around speaking of the singles ministry, the women's ministry, if I had a problem with women.
Mm-hmm.
Or having a women pushback, because women pushing back has been around me in my entire life. At the end of the day, you talk about that, you know, we we've seen these kind of things happen, so it's not that uncommon. I never saw my grandmother and my grandfather interact that way. My grandmother was a very strong woman, but she never took my
Mm-hmm.
grandfather's manhood. She never talked to him in such a way to emasculate him, even give the hint of it. She gave him that,
Mm-hmm.
that level of respect. And we are
Mm-hmm.
missing that in mass across westernized civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Women are speaking to men in a completely disrespectful way. Do you know I've had 5 foot nothing women, 100 no pounds, get off my face, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, or other, because we're supposedly equals. I mean, we're
Mr.
not equals.
Mr. Samuels, I've been on calls where I had women jump up in my face talking about they're gonna beat my ass,
Exactly.
and I'm like literally taking them by their belt, lifting them up, and moving them out my way, and they're
So
still trying to swing. So it's the fact that it's not the fact that we get triggered. Who was that, Ming?
mhm.
It is.
Oh, hey Ming, my Aries sister.
Hey, honey.
Uh,
Two
but
Aries women.
as you know,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Aries have to control that shit a lot, and you
Right.
have to. It's a burden to be an Aries, and so you can imagine. I don't like to argue, but when I do, hell's a coming
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
because I'll pick my battles because you know, and I'll say, and as an Aries, we'll say shit as my homeboy said in Iraq. He says you don't even go for the jugular, you go for the groin and the soul when you say shit to me. You just want to be peaceful. Like today, this is the second time a woman said, "You're so assertive." I said, "Why?" She was like, "Well, you said if you and your wife got in an argument, you said you take your ass watch Lifetime. I'm gonna take my ass to the basement, play video games, and eventually we'll meet in the middle and talk about it when we're cool." I said, "That's not assertive. That's having standards. Like
Mhm.
if I get married, I'm one and done. Fuck that." I'm like, why would I want to? Why would I want to leave? Well, people grow out of each other, then grow back into each other. Stop being lazy. Try your damnedest unless you try your damnedest until you know it cannot work. Now, if you're in an abusive relationship, you got to leave and do what you got to do. But I think a lot of people mistake honesty for like being triggered, and it goes back. This conversation is going back full circle to the beginning. That's one of the reasons why men can't be so damn honest with women.
Yes, and I couldn't get in to speak about that, but I agree. You can't. What Juan said it the best. You can be honest, but you can't. Was it? You can be truthful, but you can't be honest, or you can be honest, but you can't be truthful. However you put that was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's like shit. Like you got to leave out a few turns when you're giving directions to women because if you say what's really on your mind to women, you'll do two things. You'll either get into a big ass argument that you don't feel like dealing with, or you'll just crush her feelings. And women
I
say that I like to talk, I like to be crushed. Yeah, you say that shit now. And that's
Mhm.
what every man on the panel could say in agreement. Yeah, you say that shit now, but who's the motherfucker who got to deal with this shit? It's usually the men.
What was that
exactly.
comedian that said we just want to get to what we just want to watch the end of the game? Was it Sinbad?
Hmm.
y'all want to come in and talk about something. We just want to get to the end of the game. And it's not, and the true fact is, you know, a man loves you by the fact that he stays. If he didn't care, he'd tell you the truth and he'd leave. What's, you know, if men really told women that if a man is dealing with you, if he's going back and forth with you, dialoguing with you, like what I'm doing right now, if I truly had a problem with women, I would be on this panel. There are other panels I could be on right now who are giving y'all the blues. And I just listen to those guys on those panels and I'm like, yeah, but what happens when I remove all your excuses? What happens when you man up and be the man that you need to be for you? On your own grind, your own purpose, doing the best, level best that you can to be the best man in the mirror. Then you have a whole different outlook on life. And guess what? Your interactions with women are not going to be nearly as caustic or toxic because you know who you are. Even if a woman is coming at it from a more emotional point of view, guess what? You accept that. I use the analogy of dogs and cats. Men are more like dogs, women are more like cats. You don't expect to whistle and have a cat come, but you know, we get that as men. So at the end of the day, this whole effort is to give some basic ground rules, basically to talk about this whole thing about ego. So many women don't understand how ego factors in with men in general. Differences in particular, but men in general need to just talk about that so it can be prioritized for the woman. If she says, I want to be a wife and I want to be a traditional wife, I want to have this kind of relationship, okay, well, understand how much image matters to men, how much respect, how much ego, all those things. Now, if that's the outcome you say you want, here's some of the things you say you want. Here's some of the things that go along with it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I say something about the respect. I want to piggyback on something because we was talking about women from back in the day. Women back in the day didn't test men as much as they do now.
Thank you very much.
What I want to say is this: like when you young and a man is young and he don't got much going on for himself, then probably you want to test him and see, make sure he's on his P's and Q's. But if a man's paying bills, taking care of the kids, you don't have to keep testing him. All you got to do is watch him. If he ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing, you can see it. If he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, then he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. This is this thing going on in our culture where women constantly want to test your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like an immature thing that they do from time to time. Again, I might not be talking to the ladies on the panel, and what's unfair about this conversation is that we're talking to a lot of women, with the exception of cats, who are married, you know, and been married for a minute. So it's been really difficult to really listen to this conversation tonight because it's not really a fair conversation. When I listen to Kendra talk and I listen to Ming talk, even the dude herself, Ruby talk, you know, they are vested. You know what I'm saying? So you know it's vested. But when we out here as men, we dealing with new relationships. We got to deal with a new animal out here. These women out here on some different shit. You know what I mean? And we got to bring a lot to the table just to even get in the conversation for a lot of these women. Like the brothers were saying earlier. You know, matter of fact, Ming, you said it. You admitted it when you was running around back in St. Louis. You was dealing with D-boys, had their cars, had their kicks. What they was doing it for your cute ass. So look, we got to come to the table with something where women nowadays are running around with a fucking stink ass weave, some 6-inch heels in their girlfriend's outfit. They ain't even trying. You know what I'm saying? But they getting played. Where men got to get played, we already know we got to come through with, you know, we got to come through with a home, our own apartment, something. You know what I mean? We got to have something going on for ourselves just to even get in the mix. And then we got to do things to make you happy or things to impress you and improve you, get you to stay around. And that's just how the game goes right now. But in return, we're getting a lot of disrespect, a lot of playing with us, a lot of plucking with us. You know what I mean? And it just seems to be a cultural thing. And that shit didn't happen before. It wasn't going on. My grandmother didn't do that. She didn't like my grandfather. They were old, been together forever. She didn't like that nigga. But she ain't pick on him.
Right.
She didn't fuck with him. You know what I mean? She knew. She understood him. She understood his ass. She know, and she would tell you right the minute. Somebody would say something about my grandfather. She's like, "Get out of here. He ain't doing that. Robert ain't doing shit." You know what I'm saying? Because she know him. You know, so it wasn't all of this getting up in arms and acting all out every time you hear something or see something. Now you got motherfuckers jump out the window, killing each other, stabbing each other over fucking tweets. This bullshit.
Sad story when you brought up me and what I used to do in St. Louis. Just a sad story. When I lived in Boston, I had this dude come visit me from out of town, and I was dealing with this other dude in Boston, but he knew I had a dude coming in town. I got a dude in town in the middle of the night. This nigga show up at my door with some goddamn chocolate.
Right.
Just to say he was thinking, because he was trying to be funny, because he knew I had a nigga in town.
Okay, there you go.
And what did I do?
And
I
you
went to
know
the door
what,
and I
Jay?
got my chocolate, and I told his ass I'll call him Sunday.
See me, always got to prove my
Jay,
love. See, that's the shit you on.
you know what, Jay? Here's what it is though, and I'm gonna tell men and any man listening to the replay as black men as a collective. I'm telling y'all, this is the unicorn talking to you. So I'm telling y'all, get on code with these bitches. Quit paying them bitches attention. See, this is why they lazy. Because they
True.
still getting dick and attention no matter what the fuck they do. No matter how stank they attitude is, no matter how stank they ass is, no matter how fat these bitches
Come
is,
on, beloved.
no matter how broke these bitches is,
Yes,
they
beloved.
still getting all kind of dick and attention from
Mm-hmm.
y'all. And from and
Mhm.
punching above their weight class getting attention from y'all.
Mhm.
See,
Yep.
y'all gotta
Yes,
have some
ma'am.
standards on these bitches. I'm telling you, stand on them bitches. I'm telling you, have some standards for them hoes. Okay, them hoes come around, want your attention, want your money, want your dick. Pay them bitches no mind. I'm telling you, bitches will straighten that shit up
Marvelous.
tomorrow. I'm telling you, in 48 hours
Marvelous.
flat, these bitches will be on deck. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? Because they
Marvelous.
getting shit from you. They're getting shit from you. And can see these some brand new bitches. They don't even really want relationships. So you depriving a relationship from them doesn't mean shit to them. They literally want dick and attention. And it can be negative attention and they still want it. You can be calling them bitches and hoes
Mhm.
all in the street and this bitch is still want it. So if you pay that bitch no mind, just walk
Mhm.
right past that bitch. I don't give a fuck how fat I ass is. I know it's hard for y'all. I know this is difficult. Okay, this is difficult for y'all. Y'all are men, and I ain't no man,
I
but
don't
y'all men.
care that
I've
she
heard it
cooked neck
many times.
bones. We don't care about
I
that.
don't.
Move on.
I don't give a fuck.
Don't
Okay, I
don't
don't
listen
care
to the
how
little don't
negative.
listen to the little head. Don't listen to the little
Don't
head.
listen to that
Move
motherfucker.
on.
He the one that's in trouble because
Yep.
he looking at Instagram ass too. It's not just your eyes; it's his eyes too. And he tell you some shit and have you all fucked up. So okay, have like collectively, y'all gotta have some standards around these bitches because this is why they acting out. Okay, because y'all are paying attention to them at all. Because see, for men, like we established earlier, sex is not emotional. So when y'all say, "Oh, I'll just fuck her and leave her alone," for y'all, that's the equivalent of, "Well, I ain't really fucking with her. You know, I just dealt with her that one or two times and then I moved on or whatever." But for her, it's a different story. That's actually what she wants. Okay, she doesn't mind that you move on just so long as she can whisper and tell her friends that she got that dick and she got a couple dollars about your ass. That's all she want to do is stunt. That's all as fuck she want to do. Have some standards on these bitches, and that shit will straighten up. But as long as you don't have no standing on that bitch, she'll do whatever the fuck she want to do, and all of them be doing it, and you'll be looking around trying to figure out how the fuck you gonna find a reputable bitch out of this shit.
And now you see why I'm saying to these dudes, okay, we've identified the problem. We know what chicks not to deal with, who not to look at, who not to mess with. Now it's time to level up. Cause still complaining about the shit, we've identified it. We've examined it. We've broken it down to the fucking bare frame. So now it's time to level up. Now what you gonna do to stop the behavior?
Yep.
See?
But
That's
see,
where we
that's the
are now.
problem. That's the problem. A lot of people don't want to be the heroes of that narrative. Did I not tell you the three things black people don't want to do? A lot of these Negroes out there don't want to be the heroes of their narrative. How many times your favorite superhero got knocked down, had to pull himself up, part of the hero's journey, and get back swinging and fighting? No, it's so
Well,
much easier to complain and bitch than to make yourself stronger and better. And
well,
by
if
the
you
way,
don't want to be
Kendra,
the hero of your narrative, shut the hell up. Yeah,
and
just
by the way,
shut up
Kendra,
about it.
you was on some
They
all might
can't.
that shit, bro. You were telling too much game.
They can't shut the hell up because they know it's wrong, and the only way they can take their mind off it being wrong is to get a big enough group saying the same shit so they can hide.
Mm.
They hide from themselves. You
Niggas hot.
when think about it, we all
Hot
get fucked
niggas.
up somewhere in your life, and as long as you're out amongst other people doing other kind of shit, that's cool. When you get your ass at home, turn out that light, lay in your bed. You know exactly who the fuck you are and what you doing. The more you can get yourself away from that quiet, lonely moment, the better. That's why you're hearing so much damn noise because it is time to level up. Everything I talk about on my channel, I say it works no matter if you into women or out. What's the downside of being the best version of yourself? That shit's too hard though, man. Because you can't fault nobody or blame nobody. It ain't your mama's fault, your daddy's fault, white supremacy, your baby mama, everybody. It's you. You the one ain't going out to do the push-ups. You the one not drinking water. You the one not shining your shoe. You. And that's some shit a lot of dudes don't want to do because they got that arrested development thing going on. And they're still boys playing at men.
Just I don't know. Well, we coming round to the end of the show, so I'm gonna go ahead and let the brothers and the sisters who have their own content go ahead, plug your channel, plug your email, your PayPal, whatever you got. I'll start with you, Brother Samuels.
Well, thanks for having me on the panel. It's always great. Good to see some high-level intellectual conversations, some solutions kind of stuff going on instead of just diagnosing the problem. You guys can find me on my channel at by Kevin Samuels, the website, Instagram, Facebook, all the stuff is still the same. If you're interested in trying to look at my content, you see it's about helping men and now women become the best version of themselves each and every day. You know, 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, you're going to get some positive, uplifting stuff. 20% of the time, I'm going to hit you in your chest, but I'm going to also give you a hug and a solution.
Brother Valdez.
Yo, you guys can check me out on my channel on YouTube, but you can also check me out. All my live shows more than likely are going to end up being on Twitch now. So you can check me out at www.twitch.tv/the Angry Man channel. But I will be putting some announcements on the YouTube channel. So y'all can check me out either or. Follow me on all social media at Angry Man channel.
And that Twitch shit's official, y'all. That shit official.
Yeah, I like it. Those streams looking really nice.
Yeah,
but you know that's Brother Valdez anyway. You know his shit's always official.
But I appreciate y'all having. I appreciate y'all inviting me to the.
Absolutely
to the discussion.
We got to do this shit again, brother.
We do. We didn't even touch on sex. We didn't even get into the bedroom.
We didn't get past topic 1. Damn.
We couldn't get past right. We got a part 3, 4, 5 coming because this is more shit we got to chop it up about.
Oh, can I give my information?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, man, I'm Jay Sean. You can email me at jseanrandoms@gmail.com if you need some bitch management. All right. My 1-800 number is 1-800-YO FAULT. All right. And you can catch me. You can catch me at your future wife's house training a bitch. I do in-house training. All right. So college.
Sean, you ain't shit, man.
I guess that makes me next. I can't follow that at. Well, you can find me in the streets, but no. But no, I'm not. You know, I like to make up a new website called bananacognacs.com. But no. But my email is. Don't ever go up to me because I'm asking for one. Oh man. My email address is Charles Faulkner Jr. 1224yahoo.com. If anybody has any questions about anything, law enforcement, military, life, comic books, whatever you got, I'll try my damnedest to answer. When it comes to relationships, I'll tell you, when it comes to marriage, don't do it unless you're ready to do it. If you got second thoughts, don't do it.
Also, his hand is promised to Kat as soon as she turns 30. In the meantime, I am his wife without any of the benefits and with all of the headaches. So please, if you want any actual dating inquiries, you can come through me, Classic Ruby. By all means. My email is ruby@classicruby.com. By all means, I am more than willing to help you get yourself a candygram with Officer Charles, aka Eric Whoremonger.
I don't know if she hobo me.
She your agent.
Classic. Stop calling him Eric Whoremonger, please.
I'm sorry, cats. I forgot you're not in your presence. My bad. You all know what I mean by the
Right,
EW though, right?
right.
EW? Everybody? All right.
I am not a whoremonger.
So, Cats, is his pet name going to be Mongo?
Sure.
He's like, she
Anybody?
probably got her bottle of Lysol right there at me. Oh, hi, Officer Falk. The power gun for safety.
First day, pee in this cup. Huh?
Check his. No.
Anybody else?
Yeah, well, you can catch me and the unicorns tomorrow night at 7:30 at B.G.S for women, and I'm sure the grease will be hot.
It
So
will be.
it will be.
It'll be something.
Last cats.
Yes.
Nah, I'm just trying to get more information. That's all. Email the hell out of you.
Your phone number and address. You like
Yo,
to
take that shit
dislike.
offline, y'all.
Well, you can catch me. You can catch my black ass right here where you're watching me now. Make sure you get on down there and stop at the old Proper Thought Series Facebook page. That's Proper Thought Series on Facebook, and make sure you stop by the TPOT bandwagon page on Facebook as well. Send us a friend request. We'll make sure we click it quick, and also make sure you go ahead and request to be a member of the Proper Thought Series fan group page. We up to about 2,800 members. I want to try to get it up to 3,000 before the end of the month. So come on, let's make it happen. Also, don't forget, you can hit us up on WhatsApp and on Instagram. That's Proper Thought on Instagram. And also, we have a Twitter. I tell you about this every damn week. It's at TPOT Media on Twitter. That's at TPOT Media on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, or I'll haunt your black ass.
Hey, X, do me a favor. Do a promo about your page so I can drop it on my channel.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. I will. I will. Thanks, Master Teacher. And also, make sure you stop by the website, www.don'teventreit.wikifoundry.com. That's www.don'teventreit.wikifoundry.com. If y'all go up there this weekend, y'all actually going to see the Unicorn Force pages. I have them already loaded and ready to go, so that will be uploaded this week. It ain't up there now, so don't flip there tonight because it's not there yet, but it will be there this weekend because they're finished. Make sure you stop by there. There's a lot of good things going on there. There's always some good stuff going on with the old TPOT network. And make sure you have your black behinds here next week, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, because the ladies of thought, T.L.O.T Unicorn 4, will be back here live and direct, dropping some more wisdom on you fools if you're willing to listen. And also, I know y'all was disappointed about last night because I didn't do a show last night, but I will be on the air next Wednesday, and I got a special guest lined up. Y'all know I'm not going to tell y'all till like a couple days before, so you got to check the YouTube page and you got to check the Proper Thought Series Facebook page to find out more information. So make sure you stay tuned, because you can always find out what's going on if you stay tuned to any of the TPOT media platforms. You will absolutely be able to find out what's going on with all the other ones, because they are all connected. I like to thank everybody. I like to thank my mods. I like to thank y'all for watching tonight and spending some time with us. I want to thank my all-star panel, Master Teacher B.G.S, Brother Valdez, the Angry Man, Brother Jay Shine, Brother Faulkner, and also Brother L.A.R, and Brother Kevin Samuels, and of course the Unicorn 4, Lady Cats, Lady Kendra, Lady Classic, and Lady Ming, the ladies of thought. Everybody, good show tonight, y'all. Very good dialogue. These type of things are needed within this sector of YouTube, and I have every intention on doing something like this again on this platform, and I want to thank all of you for showing up tonight. So, with that, I will leave you with 3 words, like I always do. Open your minds, and we out of here, y'all.
All right,
Have a
cheers,
good night,
y'all.
everybody.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace, folks.